thing standing taller than me is my ego when it comes to defending the Ducks. I said yesterday that they were going to end on a 2-0, and they've got a tall task ahead of them. I won't lie. Even though I am a fan of the Ducky Getters, I'm a fan of what they've done. I'm a fan of how much they've improved over the tournament in particular. Dragoons Goons have yet to lose a game. They were the team that went 5-0 in the Swiss. They were undefeated 4-0 in the GSL, and they got a 2-0 win in the quarters. So, Ducky Getters are going to have to be the team, not just to take a first game off of them, but to knock them out of the whole dang thing. So it's a tall task, but if anyone can do it, I think it's the Ducks, and I'm rooting for them. I will make sure that my prediction stays clear, even when that Nexus looks like it's about to fall in game 2 or potentially game 3.
Yeah, we're going to get a very famous I never doubted the moment. But we can keep stacking the deck against Ducks, because not only that, this is a rematch that they were not victorious in, and it did not look close back then either. However, Ducks have been getting better. So, Quacks, we did talk about it on the show, but we can just do a little refresher here. What are our angles for Ducky Getters to pick up a win here? Because it's really going to be, what are they bringing to the table to take out Goons? Because if things are just all normal, I think this is a Goons win.
You're totally right in that. I think the big thing, though, the big upgrade that the Ducky Getters have gotten since, we saw this matchup last time in the summer OQ1 is in that top lane, right? We talked about it a little bit on the show yesterday. Everyone has kind of been hyping him up. Dr. Calculus has been studying hard. He went to the library, he bought all the books, and he has been reading up on the strats like his life depends on it. You can see on the KDA right there as we go to the Ducky Getters team, 5.94 has really sported an impressive KDA. Not only that, though, but is also been really breaking out of the mold of what a lot of people thought of him going kind of before going into this entire tournament, which was that he was the tank guy. You look at him on Western, he was always weak side, going things like Skarner, going things like Udyr. Well, that is all gone. It's time to change your minds. This is a man who plays Rumble. He plays Nasus. He goes what you least expect him to. And that is the moniker of Ducky Getters. They will always surprise you, and Dr. Calculus has by far been the biggest surprise coming into this tournament, and going to probably have to be the biggest surprise going into this series.
And I mean, let's talk about some X factors here, because Dr. Calculus is one of them, but we can't leave him out. Bio in the jungle. This is one crazy jungler and has that pocket pick Rengar, which most people are banning. They've respected it. Bio has earned that ban, so needs to be able to use other parts of his champion pool. But Bio's been doing really great. Rookie jungler, almost no history other than the last OQ coming in here, doing excellently. And pairing up that mid 2v2 is another rookie here. Rough Beans has definitely had some experience, but is starting to make their own again in this OQ again. This time kind of sporting a supporty kind of mid lane look here. Stuff like the Ivern, did play the Nautilus as well. Also is 100% willing to go to bot lane. They've done some crazy switch ups with Rough Beans here, but Rough Beans, Bio, and Dr. Calculus is such a interesting and bright look for the top side of NACL OQ here. So, Quacks, I mean, the only thing left here are the veterans in that bot lane.
Yeah, Enthralled and Hiccup, certainly the role that has kind of remained the same, I think, is certainly the rock when you look at this squad. You talked a little bit about the X Factors, Calculus, Bio, and Rough Beans, but I think Enthralled and Hiccup have played a really crucial role in being the anchor for the team. You can even see a Hiccup if you want to look at something like Champion Pool. They only had like 4 unique picks, so they are always willing to be weak side. They are always willing to be the ones kind of soaking up the pressure, waiting until the lane phase ends, and then being a catalyst to further their top side, who can usually find those leads, can usually find those advantages, but going up against them is going to be the Goons that you can see on your screen now. And I mean, what is there to say about this squad that hasn't already been said? Look at Array's KDA, man. This man, 14.57 on the KD. I believe his combined record across the entire second open qualifier has actually been 74, 11, and 115. So this guy, clearly the best AD carry on the tournament, clearly the best one on the sheet, and I would argue the best player in this entire qualifier here, Crims.
No, I think so. I think Array is my MVP for the entire tournament so far. Still has some games to play, so we don't know if that's going to be confirmed or overall, but certainly looking like a top contender there. That's a tough bot lane to play into and a very tough player because, as you can see, he doesn't die that often, and so even if you haven't seen Array been set behind even once, and even if it was, it's like a minuscule amount, and they still come back and carry the game anyway, like finding a quadra in the middle of the game to carry their team to victory. Goons have been close, but they've never been knocked out here, and so it is time for the draft. Goons getting rid of the Skarner, which has been a pick that's been propping up here, and Callista has been removed from Duckie's side. So we know Hiccup likes to play Enchanters on the side of Duckies. So Quacks, that's got to change up the draft. What do you think?
I mean, I think a lot of the consistency comes in the bot lane, not just for the Duckie getters like we mentioned earlier, but also for Dragoons, Goons. I feel like, especially in the case of Duckie getters, you can't really predict what Rough Beans or Calculus or Bio are going to play. You can ban away some of their, big ones, like the Respect ban going over toward the Rengar and the Brand, but I think a lot of the attention has to be on that bot lane, making sure you can take those power picks away as we do get into the picks. I would expect maybe an engaged support here coming out from Daption. I think he's been really good on those. Leona really is the end-all be-all. But the Senna, I cannot believe that actually escaped my mind. This champion really is pick or ban with the new buffs, healing crazy amounts and just being so incredibly versatile in a lot of those late game team fights, which I'm expecting are going to get messy going into this game number 1. And on the other side, we are seeing some familiar picks being locked in for the Duckie getters on that top side.
Yeah, they get themselves. Oh, and another familiar pick as well, enthralled on the Lucian. I mean, he's played a bunch of Lucian. They specifically liked the Lucian Milio. They've played that a ton, but also Dr. Calculus getting a nice comfort pick on the Rumble. So the new Senna's here on the Rift. So if you don't go AD Senna, most of the time you want to go Enchanter. That's what's kind of busted right now. If you go like with the Ornn, you do end up with really low damage. So it's not exactly the same as old Senna, but still has a new strength as Aurora. Are you thinking this top lane, or are you thinking this is going to be flexed right now?
I assume this is probably going to go mid lane. Sudsy is one of the players that is really proficient on this, and this is also kind of a weakness about the Duckie getters that I have yet to mention. They haven't played Aurora yet. They haven't drafted that champion since it's been available, and it's been really, really strong. And that Lucian Milio going to get locked in, like you mentioned earlier, Crims. Good call on that one. But I think what we're seeing now is kind of the Goons pinching out Duckie getters in draft with picks that they are proficient on. One of the strengths of the Goons is how versatile they are, and I think what they're doing so far is kind of punishing Duckie getters for not having, the Aurora in their back pocket, for not having the Sen in their back pocket, for those engaged supports not really being the forte that Hiccup has been going with throughout this tournament. And so we're seeing a decent amount of comfort coming out from the Ducks, but so far the draft really is favoring the Goons just in terms of range. I mean, you look at the Aurora, going to be able to outrange that Lucian, going to be able to outrange that Rumble. And then that Senna eventually going to be very, very lethal. So you need to get some lockdown. I like this Vi pick, just being able to try and really get toward that backline. They don't have any easy access to the backline, so I think Vi is a really good pick up here. And then the Xayah to respond, so a good counter toward the Vi. I would probably predict that going into the top lane, we get something like the Cassante or the Aatrox. Yeah, that's going to be locked in. I actually think Cassante could be a good pickup here for the Ducks, but one thing that we've actually seen, or no, this is mid lane. We could actually probably see the Galio picked up because you've got a lot of AP threats on the Aurora. You want to play for those team fights. You want to play for those wombos with the Rumble. So double AP threat in the solo lanes. But I am kind of worrying a bit about Rough Beans' ability to actually roam in this game. This has been something that we haven't really talked on, but he's really good at going to the top lane, going over to the bot lane. And if you are, spending too much time roaming, like we've kind of seen, then you give Aurora that malignance. You give Aurora those item spikes sooner, and that just makes teamfighting so much more difficult with that ultimate in hand, because it has been one of the most deadly teamfight winning tools that teams have utilized since she's been available.
Yeah, very unique pick, honestly. I do think her best equivalent is something like a Kennen, although she's
Mhm.
slightly different. But the Kennen is her best equivalent if you're not familiar with Aurora herself as a champion. I do think her weakest is mid lane, and yeah, I do agree. Like when you saw the Aurora pick, it doesn't seem like a Dragoon champion. I thought Cassante was going to be picked up here into the Rumble. Still losing matchup, but the key thing here is there's besides the Galio, it looks like they're just kind of they don't really have enough peel. So if Dragoon gets
Yeah.
the engage here, I'm going to be a bit worried for Duckies. But on the other side, they have a massive engage comp. They have the Vi Galio coming down straight onto Daption, and maybe Enthralled finds a nice angle for the ultimate, and then Dr. Calculus Rumble ult on top. So they do have a lot of firepower on the side of Duckies, but right now it kind of seems like Quacks, whoever makes the first move kind of has the advantage.
I really think Ducky Getters have the ability to dissuade a lot of the plays that the Goons might be going for, particularly in this early game. You're Sejuani, you want to get out on the map, you want to gank, and you want to influence to get Array ahead, but you have to deal with Emilio, you've got to deal with a Lucian, and eventually you're going to have to deal with a Galio who could potentially cover any of those angles that you might be looking for if you are Kisno. So I agree with you. I think it is going to have to be Kisno going onto the map early, maybe looking to cut his top side and just say, or cut his red side and say, you know what? I'm actually going to go for this gank. Screw going for the full clear. I need to make influence happen and really get this Array train going, because Array really has been the rock that this team has relied on. Even when the Goons haven't had, necessarily a perfect early game, it almost feels like Array is there to say, don't worry, guys. I got you. I'll be able to carry. And that extra little assurance has really made it the way it is with Goons, where they are undefeated because they always have that player that's willing to really put the team on his back when it needs to be.
I mean, I think the craziest part about Array is even if you don't play for Array, just weak siding,
Yeah.
this carry player still is able to carry games without that attention from Kisno here. As yeah, the early trading Senna and Emilio is not going to be nice, as Rough Beans as well also taking a chunk, but this is kind of how the matchups go. Mid lane is range versus melee. Galio is going to get beat up. That's how it's supposed to be. And Senna versus a Enchanter in bot lane is also going to be very strong. So Goons do have a very strong laning phase, and it's starting off pretty well. Enthralled and Hiccup, though, fighting back. Looks like they are not just going to quietly take the L, and it looks like they may have gotten themselves prio. I don't know how long. We have to wait and see which jungler is trying to affect this bot side first.
I like this little split screen, but we were seeing the trading patterns of Aurora really be efficient in the mid lane. It's going to force Rough Beans to go for an early back there. I was actually really surprised, you highlighted the range versus melee matchup, that we didn't see Rough Beans go for the D shield in particular. You are expected to get harassed. You're expected to be on the losing end of a lot of these trades. So taking that ring, a little bit of a questionable choice, and we're starting to see why that is so, is he's already forced to expend that summoner spell. As low health bars in the bot lane.
Flash! And it looks like that's also going to be first blood. The feathers coming through, and that happened lightning quick. I kind of was flabbergasted. Bio's now going to get here. Trying to gank on Array. Array does have flash, but it's going to be the cute flash from Bio to try to get the kill. The snare coming through, but Hiccup's going to pick up the kill. And Bio barely skates away there. Quacks. Look, I think Dragoons got away with the advantage there, but Ducky Getters are here to play.
We're seeing Ducky kind of recognize that Array is a ticking time bomb. They want to go for the aggression. They took the Ignite for the Lucian because they understood, okay, we've got to try and get something on the table as soon as possible. That first move, like you were talking about, Crims, but they overreach, they overstep, and they get punished. They go back and eventually get Daption, but even that took a lot of effort, as they almost got a reciprocating kill. Array taking those two surviving members in Ducky Getters very, very low.
And now they do have a first blood lead onto Array. Good start for Dragoons. Exactly what you want. And also, again, as we're talking about, Kisno's not even down here, and they somehow pick up an advantage. Enthralled is going to be able to pick up this wave here. And now there's no flashes on anyone on the bot lane. So jungler is heavily incentivized to make a visit.
And I like this aggression coming out from Kisno. He recognizes that he has priority on both sides, coming in mid lane and in bot lane, and it's now potentially looking for a dive. Bio is here to dissuade it. There are no flashes except for
they're
Kisno.
straight. Okay, so they do spot out Kisno, but they don't get the engaged Arctic Assault. Going to save Kisno here, but they are heavily chunked on the side of Ducky Getters. And so that's going to be a nice lane advantage. Meanwhile, topside, Dragoon getting burned down. The passive, the ignite. Does Dr. Kekis have it? Yes, he does. Dragoon goes down. And one of the X factors we were talking about, Quacks, may have been activated.
Yeah, down with the Dragoon. Go back to geometry as Dr. Calculus is reigning supreme. He did his homework. He was studying up, and he gets that solo kill with the Rumble. The X Factor for Ducky Getters, like you mentioned, Crims, coming up big and creating a win con for the Ducks when they most needed it. But now on the bot side, both of these junglers are here, but they have kind of missed each other a bit. You can see Bio is on that dragon, but Kisno has snuck his way for a dive.
Oh, Darshan taking a huge chunk there, and the auto gonna get it. That was a mistake. We don't typically see.
He went too early.
Now Array is gonna take another turret shot. That turret is doing so much damage. Another one, a double kill. Array is falling. This is a huge hit to the KDA. Meanwhile, Bio's gonna steal this one. No smite away from Kisno. Hold up, what is going on in this game? Rough Beans is here. The taunt as well. Okay, Quacks. I don't think. I was not expecting any of this, but that is a couple of mechanical misplays coming out. And Array is going to go down. That's a over 10% increase in deaths already.
Absolutely a gigantic punish coming out there from the Ducks, but largely because the Dragoons had a major misplay on that bot dive. Daption walking too far up, taking a turret shot, the ignite coming in clutch, and then Array doing the same thing. The really big difference, though, as we are going to get a replay, I love that Bio, by the way, stays on the dragon this entire time. Absolute Giga Chad move. He takes the turret shot, ignite comes through, but now the play is completely dead. I don't know why they follow up for this. Kisno manages to get some damage, but it doesn't matter. He has to go away. Array taking a tower shot, and look at the Airy making the difference on Enthralled's auto attack empowerment by Hiccup. Gets the Lucian a double kill, and then Giga Chad Bio still on the dragon, smites that one away. Rough Beans there to follow up, and another kill secured for the Ducks. So major misplay coming out here from Dragoons to Goons. But the question remains, and the question is, can they hold on to this lead? Can they put that gold difference on the map? You're seeing they're trying to go for the grubs. They have priority in topside, and Rough Beans does have R, but this is still a fight. There is still possibilities for the Goons to make something happen, but they have a numbers disadvantage. So yeah, I think they just give up the 2 after securing the 1.
And they actually get 1, so that's kind of a takeaway from the side of Goons. They did get that mid-prio in there, and it looks like it's just going to be that dragon plus the double grubs take here for the side of Ducky Getters. I mean, you call it Giga Chad to go on the dragon. I don't know if that was actually the correct play, but it is going to give them an crazy reward here, Quacks, because they just took all the objectives on the map.
You know,
so this is a great lead.
It was Faith in his bot lane, and Ducky Getters, they've been running on Faith since the start of the Summer Open qualifiers, not just this tournament in particular, as Bio might be running out of Faith.
Woo! Ooh, okay. Well, level 6 advantage there, and people really do disrespect the 1v1 from this champion that is called Sejuani with the stun as well. And now it looks like Sudsy is making an appearance. They're trying to set this up. That is a wave. Doesn't have ultimate to clear the wave. No, so how much value are we getting out of this one? It looks like they decide it's not worth it. Better for the tempo and reset. Dragoon is up quite a bit of CS already. I think we can credit that to the TP as Enthralled's back gets stopped here. And so it looks like they are going to be able to get some revenge onto Bio. But right now, I am interested, and I think you are as well. What is the bot lane gold difference? Because if Enthralled's in a really good lead, that's carry potential.
For sure, and Enthralled has kind of been the silent horse on this team of dark horses going in toward this tournament, because he's been, like we said, that consistent member, but I don't necessarily feel like he's been the carry in a lot of the games. I feel like we look at Dr. Calculus, we look at Bio as the big carry machines. This top side of the Ducks has really been the star players. So I'm interested to see if Enthralled can actually carry this lead and make a difference against Array of all players. That would be a huge step up for him, you know, just in a career move, I feel, because Array, like we've talked about so many times, arguably the best player in this tournament. And it would be a major upset story to see Enthralled put him in the dirt when it mattered most.
That would be a huge, huge upset and confidence booster, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looks like we have this Dragon coming up here pretty soon here, Quack. So do you think Duckie should go for it? Should they try to play somewhere else, or is this going to be a Goons Dragon?
We're already starting to kind of see the priority shift in favor of Goons. The wave clear from Aurora, absolutely insane, right? And it kind of forces Rough Beans to play catch-up. But Galio is one of those champions that doesn't have to roam over. He doesn't have to walk. He can fly. He's got the wings. So I think that ultimate, that grand entrance, will give Duckie Getters a major advantage should they actually choose to fight this dragon. And I think it wouldn't be a bad idea, as we got to fight in the top lane. Bio is here.
All right, Bio are going to be using the cease and desist, and they have the combo with the ultimate. That is a very dangerous combo, and they are able to bait out Dragoon and get that kill there. Both of those kills going over to Dr. Calculus. So, again, I am very interested. What is the gold and what is the breakpoint here for the first item? Dapshin going to delay Enthralled, and yeah, Hiccup's going to stay as well. Does look like Goons are going to get this dragon. I think this was their dragon from the start.
Yeah.
Duckie Getters kind of stole it away. Bio. Cheeky play gets the steal, but this dragon is rightfully Goons, and they are going to secure it.
Yeah, they'll tie it up 1-1, but the grubs are also spawning in a little less than a minute. I like these recall timers coming out from Enthralled and Hiccup. I assume Hiccup will likely try to move up toward that top side. We might even see Enthralled try to move up there as well, because they want to make sure that they can secure these. If they get all 3 of them, or even just get 2 of them, that's the mites unlocked. And we're already starting to see a bit of a shift in players and how they're positioning, as Rough Beans is actually the one to make their way toward the bot lane, has the grand entrance, or the heroic entrance, has the ultimate, has the TP, so all of these tools to be able to join up in the fight.
That's a lot of damage, and it's just going to look simple and clean there. Dragoon didn't have ultimate. No ultimates available in a 2v1, and Aatrox without that Drain Tank healing does go down, and it looks like Duckies are making a macro play to get these grubs here, roaming up their bot lane early with tempo advantage. Wait a minute, Aurora might be shaking this up. Sudsy wants the kill on Enthralled, does have the flash still, is holding, calling still available. The Crystal Ball gonna go wide, and Hiccup is just out of there. And they are gonna be able to dodge a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, Bio, again, this is the story of Bio just doing objectives.
Love this guy.
And Hiccup absorb pressure on the map.
Yeah, and he actually manages to get 4 because the play in mid lane shifted the Goons' prio, so they will be able to rotate up. Meanwhile, and pick up our low Bio.
Okay, not worth it.
Not worth.
Not worth, but
A for effort, I will say.
I don't know how much value one grub is for a flash from Bio, but it looks like Bio thought it was worth it here, as we're going to have Rough Beans try to play into Array, which, even though Rough Beans is 2 levels up, that is an 80 carry in the face of a Galio.
And I actually really want to try to see, I want to see the Ducks make a play, because we are seeing Array at an item disadvantage when you compare it to the Lucian. Enthralled has that collector available. This Lucian is incredibly strong on the map, so I want to see if they can actually threaten this top side, if they can use this Lucian, shift him up to try and bully out Dragoon, bully out Kisno, and potentially anyone else who tries to mess with them, because you've got all the tools you could possibly want. Enthralled still has flash because he saved it in that mid lane. Bio now has that cease and desist back up after using it in the top side a couple of minutes ago. So I want to see them create pressure here. I want to see them bully out Dragoon, because this Aatrox not having a good game so far, and I think if you can completely shut him out and you can take over this top side, you set yourself up to have a really solid game ahead of you.
Yeah, it looks like Duckies have been agreeing with all of our analysis here. They're going to try to take out Dragoon's assist plus the Rumble. Dragoon's melting down, going to try to pop the ultimate heal and shield coming from Senna. And now have they got the turnaround? That is the case. Dr. Calculus is going to limp away, but Bio goes down, and now Rough Beans might be the center of attention. They are going to get the kill. That's a lot of burst damage, but Sudsy is here. Hiccup is joining, but I don't think there's anything Milio can do. This is giving up mid lane. We see Enthralled pushing in that midway, the full roam up from Goons. So they are going to punish Dr. Calculus and Bio, but Enthralled is going to draw a TP. Sudsy going back to the mid lane, but Sudsy is super low. Culling the hop away, the flashes. Enthralled's going to take 2 turret shots. That's a lot of chunks. As well, it looks like the gold's even up a little bit. Score's getting closer, and the first turret doesn't go to Ducky's Quacks. It goes to Goons after they make an excellent punish onto that top side.
Yeah, Ducky's overreaching a little bit. Honestly thought they had the pick, but the healing from Aatrox just a little too strong. A champion that recently got buffed and one of Dragoon's personal favorites, and he showed up big, dissuading that 1v2, managing to survive. His team comes back. We're starting to see now that Moonstone acquired from Senna, the power that this champion has in regards to healing, how strong it has been since those buffs. As we get a replay here, immediate cease and desist. They recognize that Aatrox has the flash. He burns it, manages to survive. All of this damage is just healing it up, and also putting the damage onto Bio, so he goes down. The TP, though, not enough to save Dr. Calculus. They managed to get a return kill, but this almost feels a little too greedy. I felt like maybe there was a chance one of them could have gotten out, but instead, they sacrificed both their lives for that kill onto Aatrox. Not worth it, I think, objectively, and it does swing the gold lead back into a neutral state, because now the Goons sitting pretty comfortably in this game, Crims. Is Bio potentially?
Bio looks like they've been caught out in the stun into the snare, and well, that is a couple question mark things going down. Bio's going to go and visit the void. Meanwhile, it is Goons who are going to be picking it up. The Rift Herald, and what looked like a great early game is now coasting into a Goons strong mid game here. Duckies, you've lost the formula somewhere. And I think that they're going to need to make some adjustments, Quacks.
This is what we're talking about, right? The early game, the Goons can happy game all they want. They can have a rough, 10 minutes, but eventually they'll punish an overreach. There will be an opportunity, and they'll be right there to take it. So they are now in a commanding gold lead. Herald was dropped, but the Goons, curiously enough, not actually using that to rotate to Dragon. I thought they would utilize that after maybe getting a push in mid to draw the Ducky Getters to respond and then take control of the river, but instead, they don't get the mid turret. They get some pressure, but it's not enough, and now the Ducky Getters, I am really surprised that they actually get control of this bot side after all of that.
Yeah, so the Ducky Getters, I think they had a little bit of a tempo on some players, as well as they do full give up this top side. That wave's going to go in. Dr. Kekla is now going to catch it. And so they're going to get second Dragon. I mean, if there was going to be a close fight, Quacks, it'd probably be that Dragon. And I don't think Goons have to make that decision right now. They could definitely stall out the game. Senna scaling up is strong. Their Sejuani scaling up is strong as well. And I don't think they're in any rush to go to a fight, potentially lose the game.
I mean, absolutely, right? It's only second Dragon, not the most threatening thing in the world, especially when you have, like you mentioned, that Senna constantly scaling up, getting those souls, and eventually it's going to make those Dragon fights that much more difficult for the Ducks. So I'm really looking to see if they can get an advantage around the map before that happens, and it looks like they're looking in the mid.
All right, that is a great ultimate from Hiccup here, but now Enthralled is starting to drop low. They do get onto one here. Duckies have taken that. Can they keep going? No! They're got the culling. Dragoon goes down, and that fight we were talking about, Dragon, it just happens in the mid lane, and they lose it. Duckies are absolutely coming back. This is a roller coaster.
But Array is still alive. Daption is still alive. They've got the wave clear, but I don't think it's enough. They're trying to make an aggressive play.
The taunt? It lands under Ray. Do they have the follow-up, the flash, and the ultimate coming out? They're going to get the turret with the snapback from the feathers. They get the kill again. Ray just barely doesn't survive. And it's almost an ace here. Quacks, I mean, look, that's a 3v5. I don't know if they should be defending that turret there.
Absolutely. The Ducky Getters punish the team that is known for punishing mistakes. 4 kills going over to Enthralled, coming up big in this game. He looked at the gods and he smiled in their faces. Beautiful ultimate coming out from Hiccup, completely throws off the initial engage. And then they immediately burst down Sudsy. He's not able to do anything. A beautiful heroic entrance on toward Dragoon, who managed to get into the backline and created space for Enthralled to pick up that double kill. Just taking down those 2 members, and this is what we're talking about, Crims. They are so good at managing these team fights. They're so good at responding and reacting. They create the space. They do what needs to be done. They clip Array with the taunt. They lock him down while taking the turret. And it's just all she-ro. The Duckie Getters, we were getting a little bit worried there, but they have reclaimed their advantage.
Yeah, Rough Beans able to get out there as well. Array could have flashed. It was a very flashable moment. Thought that they were not in the range of that Galio taunt. And yeah, gets clipped barely on the edge. As Duckie Getters, they do win that fight, and they get a couple turrets. Culling, Kizno, going to try to block those shots here. And Thrall just walking it forward. Very confident with the shields from Hiccup. And once Enthralled and this Lucian are in such a... Oh, wait a minute. Daption just all alone. No one in front. No one to block. The damage is coming through. All of these Duckie members are just encircling this Senna, who's super squishy. Now trapped on the turret. Walks into the crevice and gets taken out. And now Kizno's the target. They know that there's no more backline healing from the Senna. They're going in. Dragoon just absolutely annihilates Enthralled here. Array gonna go down. Dr. Calculus just using that flame spreader. Bio's finally here. Dragoon full HP after fighting and gets Hiccup at the backside of this fight here. Quacks another step too far, getting punished. There's punishes on punishes on punishes, and now Dragoons are the one who are fighting back.
Yeah, I mean, they thought they found Dapture, but I feel like as soon as Dapture commits the flash, you take what you can get, and you rotate on toward that bot side. We still got around a minute until the Dragon, but because that fight happened, and because Goons were able to reclaim some of the lost territory we saw in that mid-play, they now have an opportunity to maybe fight for the Drake, to deny that soul point, and it's also a lot of kills and a lot of gold going over to Sudsy. This Aurora managing to get some cash back after what has been a pretty silent game from them. But yeah, let's look at the replay. They catch Daption, but here is the crucial moment. They get the slow, but Calculus overheats. They don't really have a big opportunity, I feel, to overchase, but they go for it anyway. The equalizer lands and immediately burns down Daption, but they overchase yet again. It's Bio who is split off from the rest of the team. They find Enthralled, and at this point, the Goons have a very key opportunity to turn this one around, but it was a good set of flashes to get Array as well. And now Dragoon, still having that ultimate unlocked, manages to create the space. It's a double kill for Sudsy, and now we're going back to live.
And now in the mid lane, Dragoon, they have the season assist, the culling. There's everything going into this Aatrox, and he gets out alive. Now Sudsy trying to get the return fire and he gets absolutely annihilated after walking in. I thought the Goons were going to turn it around. Dragoon has TP, is backing, does get that off. It's going to immediately TP back in. Enthralled walking up, Bio for the flash Q. They're trying to finish them off. The taunt is going to land on the 3. They're trying to get Array, the ultimate, the Feather Storm. It's not enough. Dragoon also going to fall down now as well. Duckie Getters have won this one. That should be the third Dragon. Daption trying to kite this out, but it's a lonely Senna with no front line. There's no way that this is going to be a winning fight. Might be able to peel out of here. Enthralled does pick that one up, and Kizno, the last one remaining, as Duckie Getters Quacks are going to get the third Dragon, and now the pressure is on Goons.
This is what peak NACL action looks like here, Crims. It's fight after fight after fight, and the Duckie Getters are coming up big. They managed to get 4. They will claim the Dragon. That's soul point, and now another ensues as Hiccup might be caught.
Oh, Enthralled now as well. This is not what you wanted. This is such an off-tempo play. Looks like Rough Beans is going to come in here heroically to save Enthralled. Not the case for Hiccup, though. But, I mean, going back to that fight, Quacks, they dumped everything into Dragoon. Dragoon gets out alive, and then they win the fight without their damage ultimates. crazy enough, hold up, I'm sorry, you don't get to analyze that last fight. As we have Baron being started, Dragoons, they're smelling blood in the water, and they want to strike while the iron is hot here. Bio's going to try to face trick this. Sudsy does get the ultimate, kiting it back and forth. They're going to get the stun. Rough Beans is trying to get them to survive as long as possible. Culling on the side, going to dissuade the damage dealers. Now Dr. Calculus, Bio, Rough Beans, they have to find their way out of here. They've stopped the Baron. Mission accomplished. And they don't get punished. They get away with it. Duckies do not have to face check into the Baron.
Yeah, they managed to dissuade the Baron. Good look there, though, from Dragoon's Goons. They actually got the pick onto Hiccup, so they made it a 4v5 scenario. Also burned a lot of health off of Enthralled. So that created some form of tempo for them to look for that objective, but unfortunately, they're not able to get it. Good look from them, but equally good look from the Duckie Getters, as now all members have respawned. They're all on the top side of the map. They're just going to try and clear out this vision, and this is a pivotal moment where Dragoon's Goons, they usually come back from this. The gold lead is still only 2,000 despite everything going the way of the Duckie Getters in these past 10 or so minutes. But now they've got to kind of try to put the nail in the coffin. This is the point where Goons tend to come back, tend to get these deficits away and into their favor. And I think one more fight could break the curse. It could hand the Goons their first loss here in the Summer Open qualifier, or the second Summer Open qualifier. But now Dr. Calculus, the pings are coming out.
Oh, they think they found a pick. Dr. Calculus is surrounded by a lot of blue. And that means Dr. Calculus goes down. They find the pick. They've given up mid-wave, though. And Duckie Getters have sensed that. They're going to try to get another turret down in this mid lane. But Goons could go for the Baron. They're waiting around. They're just watching. Mid-turret goes down without their assistance here. But they get spotted. That is a nice trinket ward, as we're getting an epic mini pause because it's the heat of the moment. Sudsy in again. Do they have enough burst damage? Rough Beans could use the ultimate. Cease and desist. They catch the bunny. And now they're trying to kite it out. Bio now starting it up back again. Dragoon, the ultimate's going to wane. And now Kizno is going to be very low. The taunt is going to get the Featherstorm as well. Dragoon is low. So is Kizno. Do they have enough damage? Enthrall's firing away. Pick up one. Pick up another. Bio now has Kizno in their sights. Can he pick up this kill? Charging up the Vault Breaker is going to miss. Arctic Assault away. Kizno as well. Now they have Rough Beans here. Double taunt. And now they're just picking up the rest of the crew. Duckie Getters in a 4v5 without Dr. Calculus are going to win a team fight at Baron.
15-2-3, enthralled on this illusion. We were saying the bot lane would go the way of the Goons. We were saying Array and Daption couldn't be stopped. But the gods can believe. There is a crack in the armor, and the Duckie Getters have ripped off the helm of Dragoon's Goons. They have secured the Baron. As now let's get into a replay here, all the way back to when Dr. Calculus got picked off. Didn't have the flash, so a clean pick coming out here from the Goons. And now the Duckie Getters, we were talking about it, they had an opportunity to look in mid lane to potentially push down mid and get pressure there, but it's a 4v5 and they like those odds. You can see the zoning coming out, but Sudsy is so unbelievably squishy. He immediately gets targeted by Bio. The heroic entrance basically makes the space where no one can help the Aurora, and then immediately they go back in. It's a 4v4. The numbers are equalized, and the front line comes up big. You can see, despite getting hit by this, as we go back to live, actually, we don't stop.
Oh, another fight, and it looks like they're gonna kite it out. They've walked away from Sudsy on the ultimate, and now Dragoon, exposed in the front line, is gonna go down. They have Bio, they have the Baron. They're just knocking down these turrets. Duckie Getters quacking away. They're on the attack. Dragoon's trying to defend this one here, but they have that cannon minion. Does go down. Array gets him. Root gonna land onto Dr. Calculus, and now are they gonna engage? Are they playing for the turret, Quacks? It looks like it's just going to be a zone. They're playing it slow. Duckie Getters are not being overly aggressive. However, they're only playing on one lane, as they now are trying to secure map control because there is one dragon left before Soul on the side of Duckie Getters. And that's a nice Baron take into a dragon as well. Dragoon's Goons cannot contest.
Yeah, I love that they actually played that bot lane slow. They recognized that there was a win condition sitting right in front of their faces, and Goons in a 4v5. Now Dragoon himself now just respawning means that they can take this one for free. So it's soul for the Ducks. They've still got a little bit of time left on that Baron. So all of the advantages, all of the pathways to victory opening up for the Duckie getters. It's just going to take one or two more fights, I think, for them to maybe secure this game and to close out the chapter of the Dragoons Goons being undefeated, as Kisno trying to steal that red buff, but all of the members of the Ducks are here to clear the top wave. But do they walk into the trap that has been set here in this tri-bush?
Oh, wait. They see it, and now Bio is here. Hiccup does get out alive with everything in the kit. Wait a minute, says he does get it, but now look at this. Array is exposed. Do they have it? Bio's trying to get it, but the pullback from Array, they're sustaining in the front line. And now look at these low HP bars. They can't win this fight. They have to get out of here. Meanwhile, Dragoon was on the bot side the entire time. They don't have their frontliner. Kisno's also going to go down. Daption has to run away yet again. And now, can they pick up an inhibitor turret here on the side of Duckies?
And I like what we're seeing from Bio on the top side. He actually manages to get the kill onto Sudsy. He was just trying to delay the Aurora at the very least. It's two members alive for the Goons. 20-second death timers, give or take. They've taken down the inhibitor. Crims, I think they're just going to look for the end.
All right, they don't have any ultimates, but they're trying to knock down these turrets here. And there it is. The taunt. Dragoon's going to ultimate, try to speed away and losing valuable time on it. Does Dragoon have enough damage? They're chunking Dr. Calculus, but as soon as the AD carry gets involved, the health bars start melting. Enthralled is doing it now. They're straight onto the Nexus. They're going to get the win, and they're striking first in this BO3. Quacks, maybe your prediction comes true because Duckie Getters have gotten the first step done. They win the first game here. Quacks, what is going on?
What a way to open up this series, Crims. There were a few moments for the Dragoons to come back every single time. We were saying, is this the moment? Is this the time where they make that inevitable turnaround, where they destroy teams at that 20-minute mark, a 4v5 stare down, and the Duckie Getters say no. They stop them dead in their tracks, undefeated no more, and one game away from the finals. I'm not comfortable calling them a dark horse, but they might be just a gray horse. They are so close to getting there. And boy, what a showing from them regardless.
I mean, they finally not earn their respect, their due, and they give Dragoons their first L in this second OQ so far. And before we send it to a break, I kind of want to acknowledge Enthralled, crazy game, crazy scoreline. And this is probably Array's worst game, which is saying something.
For sure. It felt like they kind of unlocked the keys to putting Enthralled down. They managed to, after that, failed tower dive, it kind of felt like Duckie Getters didn't really pay attention all that much toward bot lane, which was surprising to see. You thought you think you have a win con. The Lucian, though, didn't need any help. He was still relevant all throughout the game, getting double kill after double kill, getting those 4 kills in mid lane, I think is what really did it for them. I don't necessarily think it was Array having a bad game, but Enthralled just absolutely smurfing the entire time, closing out any and all possible avenues for Array to come back, which was so insane to see. We've been talking about Array as this just crazy 1v9 god who cannot be toppled, but gods can bleed, Crims, and the Duckie Getters are here to prove it.
I mean, look, for Array's worst game, it definitely wasn't a bad game, but definitely not the best performance that we expect, as well as Sudsy having some trouble on the Aurora pick, but that's going to be out of the way. Sudsy's going to be on something different, and it's going to be on both teams to reformulate, because Duckie, they got a lot of their power picks in this one, and they got a really good combo in the Rumble Vi. But now that's off the table. They're going to have to think of something new, and while they're doing that, we're going to go on break, and we're going to see what they formulate, what they cooked up back in the kitchen when we come back.
Just a fashion, like, you should know this. If you have a design in your
Welcome back. We are, you know what, our producers are very passionate about looking very snazzy on the screen here. Quacks, there we go. Had to shout it out. Yeah, I'm from California. This is what we wear. Deal with it. Quacks. Duckie Getters. Now, look, it is an upset, but let's be honest. Duckie is one of the teams that could upset Goons, and they have done it. They've unlocked some kind of secret formula that no one's figured out this tournament so far. And I think it was through the top side, but also unexpectedly, Enthralled and Hiccup, just 2v2, 2v3 on the bot side, are winning. Bio's barely there, instead stealing Dragon, and now carries a game against Array and Daption, the best bot lane in this tournament.
Bot lane by far. Absolutely insane to see this. This was not on my bingo card going into this series. We were talking about how important the top side would be, how important the jungle matchup would be. Everybody, even me who predicted a 2-0 in favor of the Ducks, I figured that it was going to be Array and Daption were going to kind of be the final bosses going out of laning phase, and whoever won on the top side and Duckie Getters would have to get over that hurdle through thick and thin, honestly. It would be like kind of going through a snowstorm almost. But instead of going through a snowstorm, it almost felt like they were going down a slide at a state fair because they really breezed through that mid to late game. That's usually when we saw Dragoons Goons make those comebacks, even when they had as rough of an early game as they did. They always found a way. There was always an angle. We thought they found it, but Duckie Getters, they claimed that right back. They snapped back an advantage the moment they lost it, and they never let that one go. Even though a 4v5 had, entered itself on toward that Baron, they still managed to win. So a tough game, but it's not over yet. Like you mentioned, Crims, this is kind of like when you play a boss in Elden Ring. You get their first health bar, and then they have like a little cinematic where they like put off the weights, or who knows, maybe there's that one guy that has a dragon head and he throws it into the air, and they get another health bar that's equally big, and they deal 100 times more damage. So this time around, I'm thinking they're gonna have to jump a higher hurdle than they did in game number 1. Dragoons Goons, they're locked in here. They want to get to the finals. They want to be the 2-time summer champions. And Duckie Getters are gonna have to repeat their success and potentially double their efforts to get that 2-0.
I do want to think about the draft just a little bit here because typically I think we've seen Array on the Senna, but this time it was Daption on the Senna. So someone's gonna have to jog my memory here of how common that is, because I remember a lot of Senna Ornn, and now that combo's gone because it is Fearless as well. So not only do they get that taken away, but also they put a game. They had a game where it was Daption on the Senna, and so maybe that did affect the performance a little bit of the bot side.
I agree with you. I think that the Senna certainly, it is a newer pick, and it also is a newer style of playing Senna. So many people are used to Senna being kind of this lethality champion that builds Bloodsong and is able to really snipe you from long range. This is a much more supportive angle now with the Moonstone being rushed, and I think that people haven't necessarily adapted to that yet, as we are going to hop into draft. The Goons, again, on the blue side, so they will have that first pick priority. I'm interested to see if the Ducks actually ban away the Senna this time, because I have to think that the Goons are going to try and steal that one away. Again, try and get a bit of a salty run back. It was a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance that set the bot lane of Dragoons Goons behind in game number 1. So maybe they have the confidence, maybe they know what happened in game number 1. They're willing to kind of rectify that error, and they're going to run it back as the bans staying largely the same. Some focus on the bot lane by the Ducks. Again, paying tribute to Array. You may have taken a game off of him, but he is still the monster to beat. He is still that guy under your bed that you're scared of to get up at night. So I'm interested to see now, as the Senna, again, being unbanned here in this draft. I think the Goons are going to go for it, or maybe they can go for something a little bit more aggressive, like the Leona, like the Alistar. We've seen a lot of first pick priority on those supports, but instead, it's actually going to be the Brand this time around, likely going the way of Kisno. We saw a little bit of nerfs toward AP junglers in recent patches, Faded Ashes falling off a little bit, but still a good pick, still can clear very fast, and most importantly, omnipresent and a huge threat in team fights, which is where we saw a lot of action.
This also kind of doubles as a takeaway from Enthralled. They do like that Brand Nami in the bot lane here, as we get a very potent scaling duo, Smolder plus the Seraphine. Now, Smolder could go flex themselves to the mid lane into Rough Bean's hands, but we will have to wait until that's the case. Kisno here is going to be locking in for their buddy Daption, the Nautilus. And so Daption now playing an engaged support. This is something that we know they're very comfortable with. And now it's going to be a Nautilus Misfortune. And I kind of am a bit scared for Hiccup in this one, because if you're out of position, that is going to be one dead singer.
But I feel like there is potential for this Seraphine to actually go in the mid lane. Seraphine is also a flex along with the Smolder. I certainly think there is an opportunity to still pick up that Senna. You were talking about a potent scaling combination. Yeah, Seraphine Smolder is good. Senna Smolder, I would argue, is better. And it also has that long range that can really, really mess with the Misfortune and the Brand later down the line once it gets those souls. But we are going to pivot a little bit now toward the bans. So the top lane being heavily focused down. There's a lot of CC from the members of Dragoon's Goons so far. So they are trying to ban away that easy access engage, like we kind of saw in game number 1, that that Galio was super good at getting to that back line and just being in Array's space. They're trying to take away the Camille and that Hextech ultimatum. There's not a ton of AP so far on the side of the Goons. And yeah, that is actually going to be a Cassante blind. So they're saving the pick. Again, the opening for Seraphine to maybe be the mid laner in this game is still available, as Goons are going to go a Hail Mary pick here with the Garen.
So the Garen pick is a counter into the Cassante. However, I'm looking at backline threat, right? What do you have to get onto the Smolder? It looks like they're going to be putting Sudsy on Azir to do so, but not the best backline engaged champion. Definitely can do it. Azir is multifaceted. That's why Azir is so good. But something like the Nautilus, something like the Vi, who are unavailable, means that maybe this is a very safe Smolder for Rough Beans. So they are going to send it mid because of the Azir pick. We saw this in LCK yesterday or this morning, depending on where you are. But yeah, you can very easily put the Smolder to scale in the face of the Azir, pick something easier in that bot side, and that's just what they did right there. But I mean, isn't this just a very safe game for Rough Beans? I feel like they don't have enough backline threat on the side of Goons.
For sure. I'm really looking at, some big dredge lines, some big shuffles from Daption and Sudsy to make the difference. But there certainly, I think, is an angle for the Goons to be aggressive in the early game. We saw a lot of pressure exerted by them on the bot lane in game number 1 that didn't quite go their way. Well, this time around, it almost feels like you have that same opportunity. You are against 3 scalers on the bot side, a bit more aggressive of a top side with a Lee Sin and a Cassante. So I do think that there is certainly a chance for the Duckie getters to be aggressive in the early game, but I think the Goons are looking at this bot lane saying, we need to put down the pressure, we need to make the difference, we need to make sure that Array is safe going into the mid to late game, because come team fights, I heavily favor the Goons.
The Goons definitely have a very simplified team fight. They can play it front to back. I do think Enthralled on the Sivir is a great pick into the Nautilus, into the Azir. You can just spell shield that engage coming through and just walk right out and keep pumping out the damage. However, there is one issue with Duckie's comp, Quacks. Where is the AP? It's just on Hiccup, who's playing support Seraphine. So full armor build from everyone. I'm expecting the steel plate caps to come out because these auto attacks are going to be cut down.
For sure, but I almost feel like it isn't as big of a deal as we would ordinarily make it out to be, because really the only frontliner that you have is this Nautilus Hang on. We got a big trade at the top lane. Ignite.
And Dragoon is getting Dr. Kekula's quite low. The silence and the Ignite. Dr. Kekula's knew that their warrant was signed and completed. There is going to be given over first blood. Dragoon picking it up this time, and this is a little bit of sweet, sweet revenge. Dragoon is saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to be able to take you out, but this time, no jungler.
Yeah, but he did have to expend the Flash Ignite, and this is kind of the concern when you take that Summoner spell combo, is that you don't necessarily have the ability to, influence the map later down the line, as Dragoon doesn't have Flash.
Yeah, this is a dead Dragoon, and that is going to be picked up by Bio. So Dr. Kekula's did something quite risky there, but very necessary if you want to pick up the kill, trading into Dragoon and all those minions. And it does earn them a kill, but at the cost of Dr. Kekula's health bar. We'll see how he is going to do up at the top side as the bullets come raining down here on Enthralled and Hiccup. So far, they have avoided that deadly dredge line, but it might be setting up quite soon because I see Kisno on this bot side, and I see pings going down.
Yeah, they're looking to get aggressive here. Yeah.
And Hiccup is going to be forced to flash stun landing on Enthralled. So they do set that up. Daption and Array quite low, but importantly, Hiccup without a flash is a sitting duck.
For sure, but I mean, this is kind of the aggression that we were talking about from the Goons. They get a gank, they force a flash on toward the Seraphine. But my question is, we're expecting the Misfortune and the Nautilus to be the big pushers in this lane. They are going to be the ones shoving this Sivir, shoving this Seraphine under their tower for, I would assume, a decent portion of this laning phase. So how punishable actually is this flashless Seraphine when they're constantly under tower? This Bio's punishing Kisno.
It does look like Kisno does get that, but Daption is here, waiting the whole time, hits the dredge line, and now Bio is second thinking this engage onto Kisno. But that was a very, very aggressive counter jungle, and it looks like with the speed up, Bio's going to get in range of someone. and they decide to turn around this play to go for the minion. So Kizno, at the cost of Flash, does get Wolves. Definitely not a worthwhile trade.
But not the biggest deal in the world, I feel, unless Bio has the priority necessary to look for an invade on the brand. I feel like we're largely just going to see Kizno farming up, occasionally looking bot lane like we just saw. And I think that Bio, getting that first kill, that aggression is going to have to be placed in the lanes rather than the jungle. Because we've seen the priority heavily favor Goons, which opens up a lot of angles for this Lee Sin to get aggressive, to look for those ganks, to look for those avenues. And that's this time when he is the strongest, right? Lee Sin is good around those first to second item spikes. And now we're seeing Bio potentially look for something. I think he spots him out on Wolves.
Does have the flash advantage, steals it back, and so
Nice.
that is going to be the revenge steal. I was taking some chunks, but don't expect a fight to start up here. But I do think right now, Kizno doesn't really want to be fighting an objective, as this is going to be the QE
Ouch.
from Dragoon, and that does do a lot of shred as continual damage. So Dr. Calculus, because of the early laning phase, is now in a very rough spot. By the way, Garen is a scaling champion. Garen is not supposed to win early. And so with this early lead, Dragoon might be looking to dominate top lane.
And I mean, Dr. Calculus is the one getting dominated at the current moment. He's 2 levels down, only level 4. Dragoon is pushing up toward this turret with impunity, which could open up an angle for Bio.
Okay, they do get the knockback. Bio is here, but yeah, they just don't have enough damage. They're trying to wait out the shield, waiting out the percent health
Nice.
takeaway, as the Ignite is burned. So that does relieve some pressure off Dr. Calculus here, but they know that Bio is up topside. They can read the pathing, and they might be going for the grubs here. Kizno walking over with the pressure from Dragoon on this Garen, and they're going to be able to snap up the grubs without a fight.
Yeah, I mean, despite burning that Ignite, it is still Dragoon. Plenty healthy. He's going to pick up some of that honey fruit as well to get himself regened. But with all the prio that we're seeing on those solo lanes, it means that Grub's an easy take, and it even easier the fact that you have Brand, literally the best champion, for taking that objective. So they're going to steal that one away. No contest, and really no chance for a response on the other side by the Duckie getters. Ordinarily, you would try to see a team, trade that for Dragon, try to get something on the other side of the map, but there really isn't an opening. They just now got the priority in a bot lane, but they don't have necessarily an angle because Kizno is off map. This Brand has the ability to join on up. So it's grubs for nothing, and so far the Goons are doing much better in this early game than what we saw in game number 1.
Yes, definitely a better early game. Array has not taken 2 turret shots in this bot side as well, overplaying their hand. But the Dragon not being stolen away, they have a gold lead. Dragoon in a great spot compared to game number 1 here. And right now, it kind of feels like Duckie have to make a play.
I almost feel like they aren't obliged to make a play, most particularly because the Duckie getters are the ones that want to scale, right? I mean, you talked about Garen being the scaling champion. We also have to deal with the Azir. We have to deal with the Misfortune. The Goons have plenty of scaling, but you're looking at a Sivir, a Seraphine, and most importantly, a Smolder. So I favor the Ducks going into this late game, and they should not be forcing plays to try and get anything, early on, because realistically, early on is not when they're the strongest. So
yeah,
I'm actually looking at the Goons to try and take away some of these late game win cons, kind of force the Duckie getters into an uncomfortable spot, before they're ready, take away these dragons. But so far we're 8.5 minutes in, and no attention has been paid toward that bot side objective when I really feel like it should be.
I think that's a good case for, at least on the bot side of the map. Goons definitely should be making plays, but the Duckies are bleeding on the top side of the map. Bio is significantly behind. Dr. Calculus is already on the back foot in this matchup, and it seems like it's going to be rougher from here on out. 500 gold behind in top and jungle. So for Duckie, I mean, if they really are confident in their late game that you're talking about, and they're okay with this deficit on the top side, then yeah, keep doing this. But it does seem like eventually Dragoon is going to be able to manhandle Dr. Calculus in this top side. I'm thinking pretty soon, maybe 1 item, 2 items for sure for the Garen. So I'm worried for Dr. Calculus, but that bot side, I mean, everyone's chilling on this bot side. I agree.
For the most part, it has been quiet on the bot lane. It's been a relatively quiet game, only 2 kills at around 9.5 minutes. And I have to think that's what Ducks want. Actually, really like this. I was not expecting a lane swap here in game number 2, but this is a perfect response to that rising threat of the Garen. You've got double range, you've got a spell shield, now you've got the Encore unlocked from Hiccup, so a lot of long-range tools to be able to dispel this Garen should he get any ideas about going aggressive. And it also gives a pathway for Enthralled to get some plates, as we're seeing he is getting some gold under his pocket. That late-game win con finally starting to get some breathing room, and immediately the Goons are like, nope, that's not happening, and they rotate the Garen toward that bot lane.
One thing about Miss Fortune is she's really good at adapting on the map, making it to a cross-map play because of that strut. So Array, I mean, other AD carries would be here behind and maybe they don't catch a wave, but Array on this Miss Fortune is going to be able to, so they're just utilizing the advantage of their champions here perfectly.
They certainly are, and I do think now that puts the priority heavily on these respawn grubs. Coming up in a little less than a minute, Rough Beans taking a big trade. Is down very low on this Smolder. And now I'm kind of wondering, do the Duckie Getters even want to go for a fight? They have Prio in the top side, but Smolder is low. Bio is here. He's going to try and force a play.
I think he's creating space for Rough Beans to TP here. They're just getting the TP in, then Rough Beans is going to be full HP. This might be a full-on fight, though. Daption playing very aggressively. Walking up. Duckies want to play through mid lane. They have the TP coming in for Rough Beans. And it looks like they're just going to steer clear. They're not actually trying to fight this right now because Daption was in position. Now with mid-prio, they're walking up. Sivir enthralled. Very low mana, but they're going to try to steal one away. Kisno gets another one. Enthralled going to block the hook. And now the engage from Sudsy is huge. And they just wiped the floor with the Duckie Getters. I mean, that was some questionable decision-making from the Duckie Getters, and they get punished.
Yeah, they go a little too late. They try to bully Sudsy off of, joining in that fight, but all they really do is create a flank angle for the Azir. Beautiful shuffle into beautiful bullet time. The ultimates comboed perfectly by Dragoon's Goons, and they will pick up 5 grubs. They were denied the full 6, but they're perfectly fine with that given that they also got a plethora of kills. And this is what we were talking about here, Crims. Dragoon's Goons, maybe they don't have the scaling, but they have the team fighting. They have the R buttons, and it's so easy for them to execute on that. Is look, Sudsy, such a good angle for him. It is absolutely flawless. There's no difficulty getting back there. They push the back line in, and they just destroy them before they can even react. The Encore, he's singing to an audience of a nobody. It does not matter. And now the Goons, 12.5 minutes into this game, taking control.
Enthralled had flash, but some kind of CC did go through. I think Adaption might have made a bit of an outplay because Enthralled could have flashed out of that situation, but ends up getting caught in that bullet time. So a little bit mechanical, a little bit decision making there from Duckies. Maybe a little bit too hype from game number 1. And we talked about it. The one member on the side of Goons who's going to be able to cross that distance, get across there, and get the carries into dangerous positions is Sudsy, and does it beautifully there. But Ducky's also just seemingly forgetting about this Azir, as Bio might be in trouble here. Going to use the kick away. Daption with the ward, hop over the wall, is going to be able to get out of there, but that is an ultimate down as well as a chunk. They're losing time. They might be making a play onto this Cassante. Sudsy's here to try to shove it down. And now Dr. Calculus is getting surrounded. They're just going to reveal their hand. Daption just going to walk up slowly and ultimate, and they get the kill.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go wide as well. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, Kisno got caught at the end there. And now they have to make a bit of an overcorrection. But they do take advantage on the play. Didn't expect that one. However, it is not much one back from the side of Duckies.
Yeah, good play from them. They completely force off Bio from his own jungle, and this is a rough spot to be in if you're the Duckie Getters top side. You're getting tower dove, you're getting completely booted off of your side of the map, and this is kind of, the scaling advantage coming out from Dragoon's Goons, especially when you look at top side.
Oh, with the flash E slap down, gets Sudsy, was just caught slacking. Kisno's here. Actually, though, Bio
Can he
could
do
potentially
it?
win this one. Has the CC, has the abilities. It looks like Kisno doesn't land the stun. The burn coming through, and now Array with the Bloodthirster is going to end that one short. Kisno was fairly close, just not enough damage from Bio there. As we see Dragoon working away on that side lane again, is getting that turret really low. And Dragoon's Goons have quietly surmassed a 4K gold lead.
We also missed a solo kill, actually, in the bot lane. Dragoon managing to get that solo bolo onto Rough Beans. But yeah, it's just advantage after advantage being created here by Dragoon's Goons. They take a turret in the bot lane, and now this is going to open up the map so much more for them to secure that bot side river and take this dragon. It is only the second Drake, but it's really getting these win conditions up for them early on. We talked about how important those dragons are, and now with the map kind of unlocked for them, it seems like the Goons have finally revealed their hand. They are finally playing their ace in the hole, and the Duckie Getters, they are all out of cards, it seems, at the current moment. Until they can get some scaling from the Smolder and from the Sivir, they're just gonna have to take it. But I don't know how much more of a beating they can take before this game kind of hits doomsday hours.
They do have Rough Beans on the Korean Smolder build. It looks like Hook gonna land Daption, just going straight in. Bullet time as well. They do stop the misfortune, but the damage might as well already be there. They're pulling on through. Daption is getting low, and Thrall's gonna pick up one.
Right.
This may be an overreach. Array gonna flash forward to pick up the kill. It looks like that does end quite even for the side of Duckies. However, they are one man down. Array trying to get more damage, gonna land the Q, and the Thrall might have to peel out of here, and they were not gonna be able to defend this turret.
I mean, it's a 2 for 3 in favor of the Goons. The Ducks managed to get some gold back, but look at the rest of the map. Sudsy is about to take this top lane turret. Dragoon is going to take that bot lane turret on the Garen. So it's a fight in mid lane, but everywhere else the Goons are finding gold, finding advantages. The map opens up even more, and that dragon, basically a surefire thing for the Goons at this point. But we're going to go all the way back to that pick by Bio real quick. Kisno, though, really playing with fire there. That was very close, but we're actually going to go to bot lane here. Rough Beans, no chance, right? This is the Garen special, QER Ignite, no outplay possible from the Smolder. And that solo kill basically summarizes the entire game, I feel, Crims, so far.
Yeah, Rough Beans didn't have the flash, and Dragoon did, and that's the one time when you're in melee versus range that you can just completely dominate on that matchup there. As we see Array harassing Bio. Didn't get the blue buff, but certainly creating space for Kisno to get this dragon here. And Dragoon's Goons are winning this game, and they are just dominating the map here. When they're in control, they do such a good job of winning the game.
Yeah, we look at the replay here in the mid-fight. Good Encore actually cancels the bullet time, but it almost feels like it did its job. The damage went through. Rough Beans is on the back, will manage to get Kisno. Bio just immediately falls. There was no chance for him to live. He ate all of the damage. And Thrall gets a return kill. Nice flash from Array. Overall, it just feels like the ultimate combo from Dragoon's Goons is too strong. You can cancel it, you can end it early, but it going off at all puts the Duckie Getters at a disadvantage with just how squishy so many members are. Dr. Calculus really is that only frontline that can eat that damage, and he is so far behind in this game, and he is constantly pulled to the side lanes that they never have him available, and even when they do, he's just as squishy as the rest of his team, basically.
Dragoon is an item up on Dr. Calculus, and they're all just ulting to get out of here.
God.
The slow gonna go through, but Array is It looks like they're now turning their attention to Array. Nice flash kickback from Bio, and then the push into the wall. Array, the shutdown going over to Enthralled, who is in desperate need of money, and it looks like they see another opportunity. Sudsy up in the jungle. They are going to get forced out, but no pick other than that one onto Array. A pick is nice for Duckie, but I think they are going to need a little bit more to get them to sustain in this game.
But it will get enthralled, I believe, toward that 2-item mark. Yeah, he manages to pick up the Mortal Reminder, so every little bit does help, but I agree with you, right? At this point, the gold lead is still 6k in favor of the Dragoons Goons, and next time around, if they look for a pick like that onto Array, he will almost certainly have the flash available, and it's plays like that where Duckie Getters, you know, when they get desperate, they tend to overchase. If they overchased Array there, if he actually flashed over the wall, he would have been Duckie Getters would have been in the middle of a meat grinder because Goons were on the other side of that Raptor pit. So it's just Duckie Getters, they take what they can get, but they have to make sure they aren't overreaching. They are still behind. They've got to respect the damage and just not greed at the end of the day because they are still scaling. There is still hope, but it is still a very small flame.
You have to be able to make it healthy enough into that late game to get a chance. And right now, Duckie Getters are awfully sick. And the Dragoons Goons, I mean, this is a massive gold lead. They have a massive map pressure. They're knocking down these turrets left and right. No one can match Dragoon. Dragoon is just an absolute unit right here. And thank you, production. Look at these stacks on Rough Beans here. Getting close, but even if Rough Beans does hit this passive, I don't think it'll be enough just yet. As Goons are on to the Baron, and it doesn't look like there's enough time on the Duckie Getters to contest. And this just might be that one thing that pulls them over the edge and gives them a win in this series.
Yeah, they try to look for an engage on toward the bot lane. They actually end up expending the Encore and the Battle Cry. So 2 ultimates down for Dragoons Goons. Makes it very easy for someone like Sudsy to get into the back of the line. There really isn't a charm or a speed up that can deter them from that Miracle Shuffle. And now the Duckie Getters, not only is the Baron the cause of them playing back, but just the fact that, again, they are so far behind. A beautiful take there by the Goons. They recognize that they've got the Azir, they've got the Brand, they've got the MF, all of these consistent damage dealers. Makes it so easy for them to get that neutral. And it's going to cause them to just constrict this map even further. That might be, like you said, Crims, what they need to really put the finishing touches on this game, too.
If they don't match Dragoon for even a second, takes down a turret, and meanwhile, Dr. Calculus now has to go back up and catch this wave, leaving the mid lane exposed. And even though they have a Sivir, one of the best champions at stalling a game, it's not enough. Has to be able to touch the wave, but it's looking like it's so scary to walk up here because, no, getting some damage, trying to get some poke Sudsy. And this is where they can start poking away at their health bars, at the turret. Look at this cannon just going, just holding it with the Baron. And now, Duckie Getters, this is looking like it's a rough defense.
For sure. They really, I mean, they have the Sivir, but the Sivir doesn't have the items necessary to one-shot the wave, especially when that wave is Baron empowered. Makes it very easy for the Goons to just get in there. They break open the base. They also have helped Dr. Calculus on the top side, and yeah, this game looking very rough.
Ultimate onto Kizno, trying to get out Rough Beans. So far is surviving the flash and the snipe from the Brand. Don't see that every day. Rough Beans is down, and this is not looking too good from the Duckie Getters here. Dr. Calculus did go back to base, but gave up the top side turret and inhib. Enthralled is low. The Azir has such a range advantage when there's nothing in front for the Sivir to hit, and they just lost double inhibitors. And this, I have to remind everyone every time this happens, is a 70% win rate on average. And so, if you're a betting man, the Goons are probably taking this one.
Yeah, 12k gold up, now 11k actually. The Dragon available. The Duckie Getters are all about to respawn. Rough Beans still about 1 second. Does have the teleport available, but a fight almost just seems like a suicide mission for Duckie Getters at this point. They're so far behind. Their carries don't have the items necessary to really go into a fight and 1v9 it. And Dr. Calculus, I think, just a casualty of war at this point.
Is gonna try to walk on out of there. Gonna be able to use the minions to make a quick getaway. But this dragon, looks like Dragoons are gonna go for it. They could go for the end, but a nice dragon will make it cushy here. As Kizno should be able to burn that down pretty quickly. They still have their waves to sync up. Top waves pushing in, mid waves pushing in, but Array on that bot side trying to get this chokehold complete here. As we're looking over at this dragon. Final wave's getting pushed in here, and now Duckie Getters, either you fight or this game is over.
Yep, it really is a fight or flight moment, and unfortunately, they're flightless Ducks.
All right, Dapster tries to go in. There is a charm. It doesn't hit that much. They have Dragoon, the ultimate from Sudsy, going to get one, plus the bullet time there, using that combo beautifully. Sudsy's low does go down, and now Dr. Calculus in a 1v1, but that's a Garen with the ultimate, and Justice will be victorious today. Enthralled has to get out of here. The slow Dapster with the hook, and the Goons make it look easy. I mean, this is a dominant victory from Dragoon's Goons. Maybe Duckie Getters, they might have bit off more than they can chew, because Dragoon's Goons are back, and they are vicious.
Yeah, they were bloodthirsty in that game. They wanted that win. They were not going down without a fight. And they might not be going down at all here, Crims, as they now equalize the series 1-1. And what game one was a brawl through and through, fight after fight. We had to cut the replays because there was just so much fighting going on. That felt like a heroic charge from both teams. Game number two, though, was a slow burn, a slow constricting for the Dragoons. Goons. They choked them out, they suffocated them, and they beat them at every single turn. So a very different tone than what we saw in game number one, but a dominating win from Dragoon's Goons nonetheless.
The strategy might not have been there, trying to go scaling toe-to-toe with Dragoon's Goons. They picked similar scaling, albeit they hits curves a little bit faster, and just completely mopped the floor with Dragoon, on the side of Duckies. So definitely going to need to go back to the drawing board, maybe pick a different style. Chaotic games might be the way for the Duckie Getters in the future. They have one last draft to get that through, but also there's a lot of pressure on this game for both teams now. Now Duckie Getters aren't so comfortable sitting in this position, but if you make too many mistakes, just a little bit here and there, this is your last tournament life still.
Yeah, both of these teams are locked in for the promotion tournament, and I really think that the big win for both of these teams here would be just solidifying their place in that promotion tournament going forward. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to see how that shakes out. A win here for Duckie Getters. A lot of people that I've talked to have said once the Duckie Getters get to the promotion tournament, they're likely going to get blasted. A lot of people are saying they will probably be the weakest team going into it. A win here against the Dragoon's Goons would throw a lot of people's predictions off. Some people might be saying that now they have an actual chance to upset some teams that were predicted to get into the NACL. And a win for the Goons here would just solidify that they deserve to be in the NACL, that this is a NACL-bound team. So really, it's anticipation and predictions online for a lot of people. Where do you place these teams in that tournament going forward? And this game three going forward is going to decide, I feel, a lot of those opinions.
All right, there you go. Said from Quacks himself here. We're going to go ahead and send it to a break, and we're going to get our final game very soon. Welcome back. As Quacks has brought the cheerleader here, or is also the cheerleader, the mascot of the Duckie Getters, because right now it's cheering time. They are neck and neck for this win versus the Dragoons Goons. As we have cute animal battle coming to its conclusion after this one. Hamster or Duckies? Pick your animal to win, because right now, Quacks, this is it. This is all they get for this OQ outside the promotion tournament here. Who's going to take this one? Because if you're going off the past 2 games, Dragoons look a lot more dominant in their win.
I've got my cheerleader right here. I've got another cheerleader right here, but this isn't going to be my face by the end of this game, Crims. I'm going to be a happy duck. I won't be sad. There won't be tears in my eyes. Well, there might actually be tears in my eyes, especially if they win. But like you said, it's game 3. Whoever wins this, they get into the finals, and it would be a big deal for both of these squads. But it would be a bigger deal for the Duckie Getters. They took a game off of the Goons the first time in this tournament. They made the gods bleed, but can they make the gods fall? That is an entirely different question. And last game, the Goons, they rose back up with a vengeance. They punched back hard. They were prime Mike Tyson. And it's really going to be up to the Duckie Getters to get back up and keep on swinging.
Duckie Getters, they gotta get one, because they have to go up against Dragoons Goons. This is fearless. So I do think a lot of Dragoons' best picks are gone. Cassante is gone. Aatrox is gone. Darius is going to be banned. Okay, what do you think Dragoons are going to bring out next?
I think Darius is arguably could actually make its presence known in this game, because we've seen a lot of, very public bans or patterns being made by Ducks, and Darius is also a very good blind champion, so I think there is a possibility to see that. But yeah, I agree. I think comfort really is going to be the name of the game going into game 3. We've seen the meta, and we've seen how it's worked in tandem with both of these teams, and both of the teams have kind of hated meta as we've gone into games number 1 and 2. We saw a Garen in game 2. Duckie Getters, they always hate the meta. They always spit on what is good. They make their own meta. So some surprises coming out from them, I'm sure, are going to be made coming into game number 3. Man, I'm so excited, Crims. I just want to get into the draft. I just want to get into the games, because as a fan of League of Legends and as a fan of the Ducks, this is exactly the kind of series that we love to cast and we love to watch. And the draft has started, my friend.
If we are thinking about iconic picks that haven't been picked up yet, Dr. Calculus still has Camille. Rough Beans still has the Hui. We also have Enthralled on the Vayne. Now, I don't know if Vayne's going to be picked, but hey, you know what? Could go for it right now. I think Rengar's going to be banned. Bios is never getting that one again. But on the other side, I mean, Sudsy still has a plethora of champions that haven't been used yet. Like, I can still think Corki isn't there. Still haven't seen anything like the Yone being picked up or used. Array did. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then we also have, like, Kizno did pick up the brand, but there's still a lot of OP meta picks available for Goons here. So I think right now, in this draft, I think they're going to be in a more comfortable spot. They have more of their champions unlocked, except for maybe Dragoon here, but I don't see a Darius ban.
Yeah, no, Darius going through, so I'm kind of anticipating that might actually get picked. But first, we're going to have to go through the Ducks. Let's see what they opened this time around. Senna unbanned.
Oh,
so that is available.
Karma.
Yup, and this is exactly what we're talking about. Comfort goes on all. It is the thing we look to when we are in doubt. This is a Rough Beans special. I believe he is probably the only mid laner in this entire tournament that picks that one up. And following it is going to be the famous Kiz No Kindred. This is a guy that played in Tier 2. And when I was casting with Cubby, I believe in the first Summer Open Qualifier, he said that this champion in the NACL had something like an 80% win rate. Now, when I'm looking at counters for Kindred, first one that comes to mind is Xin Zhao. I think that this is a beautiful champion. It complements the strength of the way that Duckie getters like to play perfectly. There it is. It's a great counter to Kindred. It's aggressive, and overall, it can really shut out that pick from scaling and getting going. And I think it is going to mean a bloody game. And when we've seen a bloody game, it has gone the way of the Duckie getters.
All right, we're full of reads today because I also picked up the Camille as well, making an appearance. And then the Darius in response. This is probably the best matchup.
It's so good.
This is probably the best matchup Dragoon was going to get outside of the bans here. So there we have it, Camille versus the Darius. Both these top laners going for their iconic picks here. So that's going to be a bloodbath up on the top side. Meanwhile, Daption on the Rel. Very strong pick for Daption here. Surprisingly, though, I'm not seeing an Ezreal ban, but I'm also not seeing an Ezreal pick because Array does really good with Ezreal. And not to mention, Karma Ezreal is a very deadly duo here. So I am absolutely shocked that there is no Ezreal attention right now.
Yeah, and that is almost certainly going to be a Karma mid lane. They could do something crazy. I mean, Hiccup, she's really known for the enchanters, so there is always that possibility. But when I'm looking at enchanters that counter, the Rel, obviously you want the disengage. So I think Lulu is certainly an option, especially when you have a champion like Camille and the Xin Zhao who are getting in the middle there. Janna is also there if you want a little bit more roam potential with the Xin Zhao. But that does kind of create an issue where you might have a little too many enchanters, a little too much hilt on the sword, as that is actually going to be picked up. There we go. I'm on a roll today. I don't know what's going to be picked next, but I feel like whatever I predict is going to be wrong, so I'm just going to shut up here. But so far, I really like this draft that we're seeing from both of these squads.
My mind is blown here.
Is it Karma, Janna bot lane, and a Scion mid?
Scion mid? No. No way. This is impossible.
It might be against an
bot?
Ori?
Scion bot?
Scion bot? What?
Okay, Ruffy's playing Scion. Okay, Ruffy's is playing Scion. I mean, it's not that bad for Scion, to be honest. Scion has a lot of losing matchups, so if there's barely any winning matchups for Scion. So I think Ahri might be the one case where there's just not enough damage. Of course, Rough Beans is going to be nothing in the mid lane, but I guess we should have expected Rough Beans to have a very weird pick because not only, doing the Ivern mid, doing the Nautilus mid, and I believe did play the Scion mid before, so I think we should have been more confident in the Scion going into the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever going to be a weird pickup from Duckie getters, there's, I would say, like a 2/3 chance that it is going to come from Rough Beans, and he's no stranger to having these kind of unfavorable matchups. We kind of looked in game number 1, and we saw the melee versus range matchup, the Aurora versus the Galio, and that was not a fun time, but Rough Beans managed to weather the storm, managed to survive the laning phase, had a huge impact in team fights, and I imagine it is going to be more of the same here in game number 3. They are looking to recreate the strategy that they employed in game number 1, which is having Rough Beans roam around the map, using that unstoppable charge to make sure he can go and pressure bot lane or top lane or get to those objectives quickly. And on the other side, the Goons are recreating their strategy.
Hold up. Wait, what's the Hiccup's item? Yeah, so Hiccup's mid laning, it is Scion bot lane, but Rough Beans so we had it half correct, Quacks. Rough Beans is doing the Scion, but it's gonna be in bot side. Enthralled already roaming up. This is looking like a lane swap scenario. So they're gonna have Scion probably TP back down to the bot side or something like that. This is the double jungle with Scion, and they're setting up a dive onto Dragoon as well. Does Goons have the read on what's going on?
Oh, Dr. Calculus wants his revenge from last game. He was saying, I got solo killed, but this time, I've brought friends, I've got family. This man is a Vin Diesel with some scissor legs. And And yeah, they are actually just kind of letting the wave push. They're slow pushing this wave in. They're letting it build. This is a beautiful setup coming out
poke
from Dragoon. And the poke is really starting to weather this Darius down. He doesn't have a ward, so he doesn't know that Bio is here. But Bio will make his presence known. Kisno has finished up his side of the map, but he might be too late as now the wave is crashed.
Daption's not going to be here in time. There's the knockup set up by Bio, getting the double knockup on the minions, and then they collapse onto Darius. And one of the biggest things about Darius Quacks, what is the summoner spell that they do not bring? It is the TP.
Yep.
And Dragoon even opted for Ignite to win the lane, and this is such a brutal punish because they're not going to be able to pick up this wave here. Kisno is going to also be denied, it looks like, in this jungle. However, a fight here might not be what Duckies want. And Thrald's walking up, level 2. Kisno's on the flank. Does get the flash, however, the jungle steal is not going to be here.
Here comes Hiccup.
Hiccup's on the side. Does get the snare. That's going to follow through the root. Bio does take it. The charm's going to follow, and that's another kill. Duckie getters. This is a crazy strategy. Rough Beans is able to make it to the bot wave, is level 2, and again, they are surprising everyone in the OQ with their creativity. They're up 1,000 gold, and it's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds in.
Yup, guerrilla warfare coming out here from the Ducks. They said, let's do lane swaps. Let's do a dive on the top lane. Dragoon, they were saying he had Ignite in game number 2. They found a way to punish it, and they executed off of it beautifully. But now the Goons might be executing here in the mid.
All right, Hiccup does have flash. Going to use the snare. Doesn't get the heal off of it, and just flashes over the wall. So Hiccup is going to get out. Are we going to consider, does Hiccup also get the credit for being the best female mid laner in the OQs? Or is this cheating?
This is not cheating. Nope.
This is legitimate.
This is above the belt in my mind. I certainly think that the Ducks, like you said, it's creativity. It's not cheating. It's creativity at the end of the day. But while this is all going on, while the top side of the map is heavily in favor of the Ducks, the bot side has been very, very quiet because Array, 37 CS at 4.5 minutes here. He has basically gotten every single creep. And this is the big carry for the Goons. He has had a quieter series, but he is still that guy. And so far, we haven't really seen any kind of punish, any kind of action to try and stop him. But they're going to try and stop Kisno.
All right, Kisno does get the jump, and now Bio is walking out. Support still level 2.
They want that mark so bad.
Oh, they're fighting for it here. But look at this. Rough Beans is on the bot turret. Where is Array? This is going to be uncontested here. Rough Beans going to get free scaling on the Scion. The one thing Scion really wants is free scaling. And so there is going to be that completed for the Duckie getters. They really wanted this mark, but why? They paid a lot for it.
Yeah, I mean, they managed to get the mark. They managed to get something for Kisno at the end of the day, but they might have just found an advantage for themselves. Daption is only level 2 here, Crims.
Oh, yeah, it looks like Duckies are really putting the macro brains against the Goons here. They're not going to use Brawn like game number 1. They're going to use their wits. And they're all just harassing Dragoon constantly like a little mosquito. And so far, both supports have not been getting much EXP because of all these roams. And Enthrall doubling as a support player in this game and is absolutely doing the most damage in this game so far.
Yeah, I mean, they cooked, but they are Walter White here in this game. They didn't burn down the kitchen. They're making bank here off this game so far. They're still a little over 1,000 gold up here. About 6.5 minutes, and they are going to take the grubs. I have to imagine Drake going to immediately be traded. That mark also spawning on the Raptors means Kisno likely going to be able to get that one with little to no difficulty, unless the Ducks are really hoping that they can get something there. But so far, the guerrilla tactics are working. Dragoon is not able to do anything in this game. He is not able to run over the laning phase like we saw in game number 2. And Darius is a champion that needs that early gold, that needs that early snowball. And if the Ducks are able to deny it, we're getting something closer to game number 1, where Dragoon is closer to irrelevant going into the mid to late game.
It's not like playing into champions like Karma and John are easy for Darius anyway. And Dragoon didn't bring Ghost. So in terms of closing the gap, this is a very tough task for Dragoon. And they're setting up another dive here. There it is. Bio is walking in. They're going to... Oh, triple pull! Did Dragoon do it? Looks like that is not the case. The flash out. Bio is super low, and they think twice. Dragoon saved himself with the triple pull, trying to get the wave. Now they're going to go ahead, try to collapse. The E's going to hit the ultimate for Dr. Calculus.
Wow.
And Enthralled picking up the aggro to save Bio and Dr. Calculus. Well played dive from both sides. I mean, Dragoon probably should have been absolutely squashed, but is able to just delay that much time. Meanwhile, bot side, Rough Beans in a similar position, but it's 2v1. You're a Scion as well. Just going to go for the farm. This is just incredible play, incredible understanding of like a lane swap, which is something we very rarely see here in the OQ. And they're using this gap of knowledge to get early advantages over the Goons.
This is exactly the kind of tactics that the Goons have been employing this entire tournament. They pick this unorthodox stuff. They employ these sort of, different strategies because the Goons and basically every other team in the OQ don't know how to play against them. You are essentially dumbing them down to your level. You are putting them at a disadvantage in knowledge, like you mentioned, Crims, and that is forcing them to panic, to not know what to do. We're seeing Daption try to roam around the map, save these plays that the Ducks are making from happening, but he's too late. They are just on the trigger faster, and so far it is rewarding them with a 1k gold lead, but I will say there is a potential dive brewing on the bot side.
Rough Beans is in trouble, 3v1 on the bot side. Meanwhile, Enthrall is here to stop Dragoon in his tracks again. The hook doesn't get anyone, and no ultimate to get the kill on Dr. Calculus. Enthrall just... It is so annoying what Enthrall is doing to Dragoon. This is rage-inducing. The mental willpower now being put into question. Sudsy, not taking good trade, is actually going to ultimate in the face of Hiccup here. Getting quite low. A couple more abilities, but the shield out. The Karma shields are very strong. Meanwhile, the turret on the bot side hasn't died just yet. Rough Beans is still alive, basically full HP, and senses the dive coming, and is just going to graciously walk away and just let them have it here. Meanwhile, topside, I guess they're not going to get first turret, but topside again. Dragoon! Again, the pull doesn't hit anything twice in a row! Dragoon is being put back so far behind. Game 1 and now Game 3 really getting targeted by Duckies, and it is working.
Yep, absolutely. It was Rough Beans. He sensed the dive, but Dragoon did not. He gets punished yet again. But on that bot lane, curiously enough, a turret was taken. So they may not have gotten the kill, but they have opened up the map. And you can already see what that is doing for them in terms of vision. Those deep wards, particularly in that Raptor pit, they will be able to spot out a lot of these plays that the Ducks might be trying to make on the bot side. But so far, it's all the top side, baby. Barely managing to get that Q before the slam dunk comes down. What's better than a Darius ult on R? It's a Darius ult on Q as Dr. Calculus picks up another one. The pings are going crazy. Bio joins up with Enthralled. They don't even need the Camille for this because the jungler is a higher level than the top laner. And Dragoon, he just goes down. But we're back to live here as the Grubs are the next target. But Goons are completely zoned off, so they have to give 6 over to the Ducks. And this is against a Camille, Crims.
And a Scion. Let's not forget Bausian strategy here, which I'm sure Rough Beans will apply if necessary. And so the plate taking ability in this team is absolutely skyrocketing right now. Rough Beans is up on the top side. They do give up first turret. This is expected on a lane swap. You're not going to get first turret. Array is going to get a lead. These are things that are well known in the strategy. It's what you can do on the other side of the map, and look at the gold deficit that Dragoon has to face here. Dr. Calculus already on the Trinity Force as well, and they're going to pair Array up into this Camille. They're trying to find a pick on Adaption, level 5. Again, supports are way farther behind than they should. Kizno is here, trying to lay down the damage. Dr. Keck is going to ult in. Can they get the escape? Sudsy is here. They get the shutdown. That's huge. And now this is a super low bio. Can they continue to fight? Ultimate out as well. Trying to flash, get the kill. Will do so. But that is at the cost of their own life. They don't win this fight here. Meanwhile, I think Dragoon is fighting in the bot side. Yep. I don't see what's going on. It does look like Rough Beans is quite low. And the ultimate plus the bleed plus the ignite. Does the shield come in time? No. So Dragoon Goons fight back here. Duckie Getters, they just take a fight and they lose their strongest member, Dr. Calculus, on the Camille. Unfortunate. I mean, when you're fighting against something like the Kindred, I cannot stress the importance of having a tank in that invincibility field to push them off to guarantee that you win, even if they get off the ultimate from Kindred. And with Rough Beans on the bot side, Lamb's Respite couldn't control the Lamb's Respite.
Sure. And I think that the Lambs Respite, like you said, they really need a body that's willing to go up front. And that has got to be Rough Beans. I'm looking at that sign to really be that tank that the Duckie Getters can rely on. The problem is they're constantly sending him to the side lane. He is going on side quests constantly. And as a result, they don't have frontline. They're constantly down a man in these fights. And that is going to start to get important because we're grouping up more and more as these objectives are spawning and growing in importance. The Dragon is up. All of the Goons are here now. The Ducks, they're trying to posture around it, but they don't have their mid laner, they don't have their Scion, they don't have their front line, so it's just gonna have to be a give at the end of the day.
They're still biding their time. Scion, Rough Beans is not there yet. Rough Beans is not on first item, just not there yet. But if we take a look at the gold, if Rough Beans is ahead of Dragoon, I mean it's kind of worth it, to be honest. If Hiccup and Rough Beans are anywhere close to their counterparts here. And it does look, yep, Rough Beans is ahead of Dragoon here. And even though Hiccup is behind Sudsy, the Karma shielding later is going to be crazy. Yeah, you spawn this one out here. Oh, that's beautiful. Redemption doesn't get over the wall. It's forced to flash. So that's a nice flash being burned. Redemption playing that excellently. But in terms of what Duckies want to get accomplished, I think they've done a beautiful job. They still need to be careful, though. It looks like they're going for a play on 2. Array is going to be flashing out of there, and now they get Kisno. That's Kisno. Dragoon's here trying to fight, but look at the shielding power. The bleeds as well. Camille gets the kill. Dr. Calculus goes down, though. Sudsy's here with the ultimate, but this is a 4v3. Array already flashed, still has the barrier. Rough Beans up front. They're trying to get this red buff. Both in the fight for Bio's in. Daption is going to jump out. Sudsy now is low. Doesn't have the ultimate. It was burned earlier. Enthralled with the slows. Doesn't land the knock-up. But they're chasing this down. They want this kill. Bio lands. The winds become lightning. And that's a kill. That was a huge chunk out of Bio. Wasn't expecting that one. But the Duckie Getters, they went on the fight. Gold lead re-established here. And remember, their combo will get stronger and stronger. This Scion with double enchanters will be nigh unkillable.
Yeah, absolutely. The Scion really, like you said, biding his time. But now we got to fight the bot side. Kisno does have R.
All right. He's going to get the knockup that lands. Kisno gets split by it as well. The ultimate Lamb's Respite coming. It looks like that's going to be enough to delay to get the kill on Dr. Calculus now. Rough Beans has to peel on out. Enthralled now. Again, providing so much utility to their team as well. Bio was ready to rumble, but there was no one to rumble with. Yeah. As that ends up, I guess that was a one for one. I mean, some of these fights are so long, I don't remember. Quacks, you're gonna have to remind me.
Boy. Yeah, that's a big deal though that you're seeing on your screen. Kisno at 6 stacks, the Kindred getting a lot of additional stats because of that, and will be a very, very big threat. And the big threat for Duckie Getters, going into kind of the first 7 to 10 minutes. A lot of people, us included, were anticipating that Dr. Calculus would be the person to get into the backline, utilize the Hextech ultimatum to break up the Goons, take down the Kindred, take down the Varus that was getting all those plates, getting all of that gold. But in recent minutes, it kind of feels like this Camille has fallen off. Now 3, 3, and 3, so not that power pick as we got an engage.
Oh, Enthralled gets annihilated. Dragoon gonna pick up the kill. They're gonna try to chase now.
They're angry.
Under threat. The pole's gonna land, and it looks like they're just trying to get this Rift Herald fight going. It is gonna be disengaged. Crescent Guard plus the flash, and so while Duckies have been doing a great job, we have to sing the praises of Goons as well. They've been finding good moments in this game. They were put off guard. They were caught, but they are recovering in this game. And now they're going to send this Rift Trail down mid lane. They're trying to look for a fight here. Hiccup with the snare.
They
Dragoons
have
in the front line. The
will.
huge Q damage across. Rough Beans with the ultimate. Is this the fight they're looking for? Dr. Calculus was able to help pick that one up. Hiccup. Wait, no, goes forward. What was the reason for that? Sudsy now is getting picked up here. They have the turret. It is under threat. Sudsy does have 2 more charges, but the walk up there just so aggressive, as that could have been punished. And another turret goes down, this time for the Duckies. Pings are going down. I think they see Kizno. They see Kizno. Walked over a ward or something. And does get another. Oh, that's the mark. Kizno, come on. Come on. That's a greedy mark. They get punished by the Ducky getters.
And this is going to open up a beautiful window for the Ducky Getters to put the pressure in the bot lane. There's about a minute away. We're about a minute away from this dragon spawning. They opened up mid lane. If they can open up bot lane here, they can potentially stop the dragon stacking that the Goons have set up around this game. And if they can do that, they really set a difficult precedent for the Goons to get over. They have started to get their pick scaling with all of these first items coming in. The Karma, as you saw in that mid play, dealing so much damage with the Malignants. Rough Beans is plenty tanky, and the top side has rejuvenated its strength, going close to this 20-minute mark. So all of the picks, all of the spikes that the Ducky Getters could have possibly wanted have been activated. It's just a question of, can they pull the trigger? And we're about to find out as everyone is priming around this drink.
Dr. Calculus was set up to carry this game, but it's Hiccup who is shining right now. 3-0 and 2 as well. Been doing a lot of poke damage. Not a lot of healing on the side of the Goons, at least outside of a fight. It looks like Rough Beans is just walking in here. The health bars, look how much Rough Beans has. That's going to take quite a while to knock down, plus the shielding here. Dragon resets as well. This is giving more time to Duckies.
Oh,
it looks like they're trying to find a pick. Sudsy forced the
Spirit
ultimate
Rush
here.
Burn.
But they have so much time because of that reset. They're not forced to walk up and engage in a bad engage. They could just play this one out slow. Sudsy's ultimate is now gone.
Reset again.
They don't have a pick, and they're all walking up for a ward, and they've been completely moved out. Bio is low, but at any point in time can be healed up. Rough Beans, look at this. Not even touched, as they're going to use Enthralled Healing here. Now they're on to the Dragon. They have the flank cut off. Dragoons, Goons, they could watch this go down, or they can go for an engage. Either or. Array's waiting on the side. They have Daption going over. The Daption's going to find the flank, but now they're engaging on the front line. Dragoon is there. Dragoon is low. We have Dr. Calculus. Bio gets the Dragon. Lancer Spite is here to stall this one out. Rough Beans is also going to be stalled out. Does go down, and now has to run away. Array is running away from the sign. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, Bio's trying to win this fight. Dragoon is still alive. Hiccup is here, and it's a full win from the Goons. I thought Duckies had that fight, Quacks.
I mean, they had to burn, particularly they had to burn that Monsoon early, so the engage was available for the Goons. The bleed. Oh, the shield saves Hiccup from death. They get the Dragon, but they lose the fight. The Goons showing their teamfight prowess when it mattered most. And now a bunch of gold being put into the pockets of Array. He has had a silent early game so far. As let's get a replay. Daption, you can see on the side, they just have nothing to disengage this. They get the backline, and that causes Rough Beans to kind of be isolated. He already took a bunch of damage. A Hail Mary play now needs to be made by the Ducks. Their frontliner is going to die. The Lamb's Respite, it times out, but Dr. Calculus is super separated from his teams. After Rough Beans dies, they also have a window to walk on up to avoid the carries, but also a window to kill off another member of the Ducks. They do that. Array almost dies to the Ghost, and they try to get these low health targets, but they just barely miss on out. They get the objective. They stop the Dragon stacking, but they give up so much in return, narrowly preventing the ace as we see here.
Yeah, Dragoon didn't hit that heal. Went down to Hiccup there. And maybe Hiccup turns that around into a triple kill. Who knows?
Who knows?
Ducky did take a step too far, but they did get the Dragon. So, by far, not a perfect game. We are starting to get into that brawling part as well. And I just have to mention, Dragoon is back in this game. I don't know how Dragoon did this.
Yeah.
but somehow is relevant again, and was almost relevant in that Aatrox game. I'm going to be honest here. Dr. Calculus trying to get onto Dragoon, the hook, the pull. Can Dr. Calculus get away? Array's going to try to stop this! And that's the burst damage. That is Varus here. And Thrall going to use the speed boost to get out here. And, I mean, even though Dr. Calculus is playing the Camille, maybe a bit rusty. I don't know. This is not the kind of performance I expected from the Camille from Dr. C.
I mean, we are looking. I mean, if you told me that the score or the KDA score lines from these top laners would be essentially the exact same after such a rough 10 minutes for Dragoon, I would believe you, but I would find it hard to believe, as I'm finding it very difficult to believe that the Goons, after such a difficult early game, are finding a way back here. And I say that, and Sudsy gets engaged on. The TP, though, coming up from Rough Beans.
Rough Beans. Dr. Kekka. Dr. Kekka is going to go for someone else. They said Array is more of an issue, and they get Array. And Thrall with the CC slow as well. Rough Beans is going to charge right past Kizno, but they found their target. Respite. This is not going to save anyone. There's just too many. The CC knock-up time perfectly by the Scion. The counter is applied, and out of nowhere, Duckie getter say, Dragoon on the sideline, we don't care. We're going to kill your entire team because we are setting up a Baron play.
Yep, they knocked down the turret. They knocked down 4 out of 5 members of Dragoon's Goons. They're going to march on to the Baron. The Ducks go marching one by one. And after what was looking like a rough mid-game, a rough past 5 minutes, they rejuvenate their strength. They find the angle, they find the picks, and they will find this neutral objective that could carry them into the finals of the second OQ here in summer.
This is a very slow Baron, but they've bought enough time from those kills here. The tempo back now, going to help them get onto the map faster because that dragon is spawning soon. But I do think here we get this nice replay. Sudsy getting burned. The ultimate burned early is a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, what a good play from Bio.
Oh, Bio's a dodge.
He sidesteps the charm. God damn it, that was so cool. And they find the pick onto Array. The Goons were split up and knocked down one by one like dominoes. And Kizno, he pops the Lamb's Respite, but he's just buying time. The end is nigh. They find 2 more, and it's only Dragoon on that bot side that lives to tell the tale. And he wasn't even a part of it, Crims. And now the Baron, they're pushing as 5. All ultimates available except for that Monsoon on Enthralled. The dragon is about to spawn, and I think with the push in mid and the Baron buff to provide, they are just going to turn onto this objective, and they are going to, again, deny that soul stacking potential from the Goons. They're going to equalize this count, and the cherry on top, they are going to steal away a mark.
Yeah, there's no mark here from Kizno. Who, I mean, look at this scoreline from Kizno on the Kindred. Totally unexpected here, 0-5. The top side of Goons are getting quite heavily punished here. I see a lot of pings going down on this turret. Sudsy's soul defending. And yeah, they just have Dragoon Suicide pushing because that's the only thing Adarius can do in this moment here. And right now they're not matched. Rough Beans, but versus a Baron push, this is not easy. And no TP, so if a fight starts, Dragoon's going to take quite a long time to get there.
Yes,
He's now going to be backing. And now look at this. This is such a heavy punish. They're not here in time. Inhibitor goes down. You cannot out-split push the Baron. I thought that Dragoon's Goons were okay with giving this up, but with that back, I just questionable macro.
They're so close to doing it here, Crims. They made the gods bleed. The gods, they're limping, they're stuttering, they're stalling. But can they fall? Can that last punch land? Or will the gods rise up to get back to finals? This is a revenge tour. Like you said, for the Ducks, they fell in the open qualifier 1 in summer. It was a 2-0 sweep, not even close. But they have a chance to rewrite history, to upset the gods, and upset a lot of people's predictions about them as well. And they don't have the Baron. It's going to be expiring in about 10 seconds here, but they've got the power of friendship, and that is stronger than all.
They have that Duckie bond that they are using right now. They have control of this Baron jungle here. Bio just goes straight
whoa,
in.
whoa.
Sudsy does miss the charm.
They got
Goes
the
straight
angle.
on to Kisno. The last respite is so early. There's not even any
got
low health
Kisno.
bars. Rough Beans is here for the engaged. Daption's getting out. Sudsy now is just forced to flash out. Dragoon's in the front line. Just trying to front line right now. Does get the Q. They get the charm on the way out. That's a huge pick. Bio has been picked up here. Dragoon, somehow the hero time and time again for the Goons. Baron is out. Enthralled might be being that harassing mosquito that we saw earlier. Baron has timed out as well. They have to play off these inhibs. Huge chunk from Hiccup here.
Hiccup got sick of being the support and wanted to be the damage dealer, and the Duckie getters said, all right, bet. And man, yeah, that damage is coming up big. Half health onto Array with 1 Q. Daption was maybe looking for an engage there with the Hex Flash, but I think seeing the amount of damage come through from that Karma dissuaded an immediate nope coming out, turns back. But yeah, like you mentioned, Dragoon himself, the namesake of the Goons, coming there again to save them from annihilation. And this was kind of a risky play from the Goons. They don't have any vision. They initially get punished. Really good, quick collapse from the Ducks. They lock up Kisno. This man has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He gets flashed on Dr. Calculus, picks that one up. The ult from Rough Beans narrowly misses. And at this point, they're trying to disengage, but the pull does its job, getting 2 members back into tower range. And you're thinking, okay, now this time they are out, but the charm lands, they reel them out, and we've got to fight on live, actually.
Yeah, Rough Beans here, starting up in the front line.
Dragoon's
Dr. Carey's diving into 4. Is this the right idea? Surviving for now. Does get bursted. Now Dragoon is just getting knocked up. Bio doesn't get it, and Sudsy is able to pick up the kill. The Goons are turning it around. Enthralled, still alive, is not going to be able to make it out. Hiccup, though. Hiccup is the carry. The flash over for the kill. The snare does not get the second Q. Array is able to fight back here. Rough Beans, the last one standing. Hiccup, that was so close. The flash Q was definitely the right idea, but the miss just barely missing Array is the difference maker.
And you know, Array and Geometry may only have the sum of 180 degrees, but Array is dancing 360 degrees around the Ducks, narrowly gets out with 1 HP. And a close fight, but both teams walking away with blood on their hands. No definitive victor, but the Goons continue to stave off the Ducks, and that has got to count for something. As we go into the replay, Dragoon rather, gets picked off, but a massive heal saves him. I think that really made the difference maker, because if Darius dies here, all the members of the Ducks are able to kind of turn onto this fight. And Sudsy, I want to highlight him. He goes into the middle of 4, gets the reset yet again, goes in, keeps on playing aggressively in the face of all of the damage dealers from the Ducks, and it gets rewarded. He's got the fancy feet, and so does Array. A beautiful sidestep, and they manage to find the 4-for-3 trade. And this game, 30 minutes in, I think I'm going to have a heart attack, Crims. Oh my god!
They're fighting closely. This is a definite battle, a grind between these two. Duckie getters have met Dragoons in this game, and it is just a brawl, a bloodbath. Dragon is up, and it looks like Duckie getters are saying, you want Dragon, we want Baron, we want a second Baron because we can end this game. They're pulling everyone from Goons here. The vision is strongly in their advantage. Dragoon's checking slowly. Duckies are off the Baron now. They're not sending anyone to do the Dragon. Mid-prio being contested.
Yep. And they're just trying to fight for prio in the mid lane here, like you mentioned. And yeah, the Dragon really isn't the concern of the Ducks at this point. They're knocking on the base constantly. They want that extra siege power. They want those Baron-empowered creeps. They want to try and force the Goons to go onto them like they're doing now. But is this engage going to make the difference to Daption? He gets the stun, dissuades the knock-up. This game is at a nice edge. One tiny misstep, one tiny misplay, and the team that is on the reciprocating end could go down. No finals for them. And both teams, they're acting. They know the stakes of this game. Nobody wants to be the one that makes that mistake. so they're going to play it carefully. You can see Kizno on the bot side. 9 stacks now is just going to go onto the Dragon. And the Ducks, they're pivoting on toward the Baron. There's a ward there, but it might not matter.
Wait, Hiccup! Hiccup finds a solo kill! Oh, Sudsy's down, does have TP, but they lost a very strong member on the side of Goons here. Back from Dragoon. They do get the Dragon as well, but that's the TP on the side of Goons. Dragoon doesn't have it, and this is a Baron trade, as this is a pivotal moment, because right now, Duckie getters have to make this Baron worth it. They gave up their Dragon, which means that they should be able to close out this game. Otherwise, they're going to be fighting for a soul, and that's not what they want to do right now. So, Duckie getters, they have to close out the game here, or else they might be finding a very hard fight in the future.
They're in a 4v5. Sudsy is not present, does have the TP available, but they're going in!
Bio's going in. Dr. Calculus over the wall from downtown. It's a nice knock up. Adoption is gone. They lost Dragoon. They're trying to find more over the wall. Enthralled super low, but the shield's on the way out here. Can they make this defense 3v5 plus the Baron? Sudsy's doing their darnness, but I don't know if they could do it. Ari's not the best wave clear champion. They're on to this turret. They're on to the inhibitor. Goons might be knocked out right here. Charm landing, but that's onto the Scion. Super tanky, plus the shields coming through. They need a better target. The knockup, ultimate being burned. Bio's going to force a flashback as well. And look at this, Kizno is super low. Do they have the kill? They're trying to get it. Dr. Calculus goes down, and Hiccup gets it at the end. Hiccup doing such a great job with the shielding. Dr. Calculus going in, goes down, but the sacrifice for the turn. Wait, this is a turnaround. The respawns are here. Quacks. Now Rough Beans gets charmed on the way out. Hiccup's doing a ton of damage. Do they have it? TP from Sudsy. They're trying to find a win and angle here. Adaption's trying to slow Hiccup. Hiccup's almost out of mana. Might be able to stall long enough. Hiccup is chunking Daption, but Dragoon should be able to run down Hiccup on this Karma. This might just be it. Goons might have found an angle. They might have found the win.
Yup, they managed to slow Hiccup, and that is going to be a kill. But with the respawn of Enthralled and Bio soon after, it's just going to be an inhibitor. But it was the Ducks. They had the angle. They had the Baron. All of the stars had aligned for them to take the game, but they overextend. They get too quick on the trigger, and they get punished. The Goons down a man, battered, beaten, broken, rise back up. But the question is, will it be enough? There's not going to be an objective spawning for at least another 2.5 minutes, so that gives plenty of leeway, plenty of wiggle room for the Goons to find an angle, for them to find a pick. And the same goes for the Ducks. Everyone is respawning, and 35 minutes into this game, we just cannot pinpoint who is going to take it. It is at a knife's edge. The gold lead is a minuscule, Crims.
Right now, the Duckie getters have a pretty good inhibitor for this Dragon setup here, but right now Goons have a very strong Dragon setup inhibitor on their side. Yep. Do the Duckies try to pull the Goons on the map? They don't have a TP on the side of Goons. Oh, and
no, Enthralled!
Being here, Enthralled in such an important moment is now going down. They're going to not be able to contest vision now in this Dragon bot side. Goons are going to be in full control of this Dragon jungle, and that's going to make it tougher for the side of Duckies. I do think that they have the split push advantage, but it might be difficult to utilize, Quacks.
For sure. And I mean, while they do have the top inhibitor, right, you know, pushing in, Dragoon is going to be responding to that. I would argue that the Goons taking that bot inhibitor is way more impactful going into this next minute, because it provides so much more pressure around this Dragon. That is a lane right next to the objective that the Ducks have to respond to, have to respect. And that is going to mean that the Goons, like they got that pick on Enthralled, it's going to mean that they can get more control over this bot side river. It means the Ducks are going to have to march into them. And so far, with the pattern we've been seeing, it almost is like the team that is forced to engage is the one losing the fight. So not looking good for the Ducks, but can they make the difference? Can they break the cycle? Daption is looking for an engage. Rough Beans is on the side, but he does have the TP. Dr. Calculus doesn't actually have the teleport, but is still pushing in the top lane. This is a dangerous game. The macro from both of these teams is insane here, Crims. But who is going to come out on top?
Dragoon's catching the top wave. They see Darius. They know there's no TP available. A potential 4v5 could be here. They still have Darius. Rough Beans is walking in. They want to get control. Array has been doing immaculately on the side of the Goons. 10, 1, and 8. An absolute monster. Is able to kill this Scion right now. Array is the key carry. Can they get this Dragon TP from Dr. Calculus? But Dragoon's already here. Rough Beans is going down so quick. There was no heals. Daption's in the pit, but is that where they want it to be? Rough Beans is forcing them back. Do they get the soul? It looks like that's a no. Daption picks it up. Oh, that is an engage here. Sudsy trying to find with the charm. Flash does get it on the pickup. Dr. Calculus ults in, but that is a going golden to block that one. Daption on the back line. There's Dragoon. This is it.
The Goons in the pivotal moment. They're marching on to the base. A clean ace awaits them along with the base of the Duckie Getters. A TP coming out from Sudsy, his team behind him. The Goons stand strong, the Goons stand tall, and the gods can bleed, they can limp, but they stand on top, and they win the series over the Duckie Getters.
Us mere mortals cannot defeat the gods, but we showed that they are capable of being defeated. Duckie Getters not able to pull through on that one multiple times. Just maybe a few plays away from picking up the win, but not enough to pull it off here. And it is Dragoon's Goons who make it through. It is Array who is able to carry his team over the finish line here in this game, somehow only managing to die one single time. And that one time it did matter, but all the other times Array was able to stay alive and be that team carry that is for Dragoon's Goons.
And I mean, I really want to give credit over to Sudsy and Daption. Daption's flank angles were immaculate. Sudsy, man, that man was looking for a hot Tinder date. He was landing every single charm, hit after hit, E after E. They would not miss. And most importantly, they found the key targets. They found the Karma. They found the Janna. They found the Camille when it mattered most. And really, they, I think, were the ones that put their team on their backs and managed to get them over the finish line. But the Duckie Getters, man, so close. They were at the base. They were at the Nexus turrets. They overreached on that siege. I was getting SKT versus Misfits flashbacks from that one. The situation was similar, and the outcome is what ended up being similar as well, as the Duckie Getters managed to claw their way back with that advantage, with that extra time that they got from that mistake from the Duckie Getters. The Goons managed to claw back. What a close series, but man, stars to both squads at the end of the day. Everyone figuring this would be a clean 2-0 sweep for the Dragoon's Goons. We would be out of here celebrating with our friends, watching Netflix by this time. But it was a nail biter. It was a 40-minute game 3. And the Ducks proved that they deserve to be here. They deserve to be in this promotion tournament. And they have no shortage of tricks up their sleeves that even the best cannot predict. So it is a win for the Goons. They win the fight, but the Ducks, they win the night.
Well, the Ducks always win the hearts of the people. If anything, there's no way you can't watch that performance, watch their guts, watch their ability to make these decisions in these games. And I mean, what other team would be willing to be pulling off a strategy like this other than the Duckie Getters? So they win our hearts at the end, and they're not out entirely. Of course, no more OQ for them here, but the promotion tournament will be seeing them in the future here. So, Quacks, your prediction not coming true, although I'll give you credit. It was close.
So close.
It was close. Not this timeline, unfortunately. You may have to hop to a different one here.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sad duck noises do play.
Don't cry. It's okay.
But, how does this change your overall prediction for the tournament? Because you have to make an adjustment, and I'll let you make that adjustment.
I mean, I feel like I think Lotus versus Komodo is actually still going on the NACL too. I'm assuming once we're done here, that is going to get rated over. But I personally think the Duckie Getters are going to get, they got as close as you could get, in my mind. I personally think that while Lotus and Komodo are good, the unorthodox style of the Ducks is what pushed the Goons to their absolute limits, and I don't think any of the other squads in this tournament that are still remaining have that. So I'm expecting the Goons to probably take this one regardless of who wins versus Lotus and Komodo. That is an exciting series, but yeah, this is the most we've seen the Goons bleed, not just in the summer OQ2, but just in the summer open qualifiers in general. They really were pushed to their limits, and I don't expect that we're going to see that potentially even in the promotion tournament. I think
They had Lotus's number as well in the finals, so
Yep.
Duckies are not going to be moving forward. It is Dragoon's Goons, and somehow Dragoon always finds a way back into the game. You could send this man 0-4 on Darius with no TP, and somehow Dragoon will find a way. And that is the story. Dragoon's Goons will find a way. They have the players, they have the star power, and it is going to be them to beat in the finals. So no more delaying. Let's send you guys over to NACL 2 so you can watch that other matchup, and then we will be prepared for the finals.